Hello, everyone. Can you believe we're still doing a fucking podcast every week?
I can't.
It's unbearable. It's almost too much to take. So I'm Neal Brennan, and I'm a comedian and actor. I'm not an actor.
A banker. He's Capone's banker.
I was Al Capone's lawyer, and I played Al Capone's lawyer. I was at the Klan rally on Chappelle's show. I was lucky enough to have been cast in that. I said, let's hear it for Super Dude when he fought the Milkman, I believe.
And all that.
Or Butter Boy. Can't remember. Pretty great. Anyhow, so how's your week been, hun?
Pretty good.
Do tell.
I don't remember, actually. I just hoped you would go into your thing.
This was the first week I actually felt like I hit a wall because I didn't have enough shit to do. Like I had stand-up shows like looming all the time, and I didn't think I had one. I actually do have one this week, but I forgot.
What date? Shout it out.
I think the 17th, and I think it's one of those video shows.
Okay. Well, this comes up before then.
Yeah, so guys, go to the non-existent website for the show. I don't remember. I think it's incrowd.com. It's the InCrowd is the name of the thing. It's like the one where they have all the monitor banks. I haven't done a video show, so I'm a little.
Do you think that format's gonna stay around?
No.
It does seem very temporary.
No, it's not. It's if there's nothing else you can do, if you're living if everyone's breathing poison gas, yeah.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, it's the set.
Is it? I think it's the mic.
No, it's not. I think it's the set. Oh,
okay.
Tell you what, it won't happen again. To quote Shepard Smith when he said "curb job, blow job."
Oh, that was so funny.
Won't happen again. So I hit the wall, and then I just didn't have. Oh, I might write a book. That was the thought I had.
About what?
Just a bio. I've done enough pretty popular, interesting shit.
But isn't that what Thingy's going to be about? One man?
Not really. One
it's
man
not about
is
you?
No, it is about me, but it's not. It's more about it's about an acceptance of self that wouldn't be it would be like part of the narrative of the book. The narrative of the book would be like searching for esteem via comedy and relationships and achievements.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
I like that.
I know. Here's the problem.
What?
I know a lot of shit.
Don't write.
And I know. I mean, that's the problem. I know. I don't want to be a snitch.
No, Neal, you can't.
And I don't want to be a liar.
Well, also, you don't want it to be boring.
I know. That's the problem.
Because you kind of need...
I know. That's what's interesting.
I like doing? I like reading... I don't know the names off the top of my head, but I like reading old...
go ahead.
Old biographies of people in the golden era.
Uh-huh.
Because when they're old, they'll write all the secrets.
That's always the rub is by the time you're old, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. And then you could be like, they had a black sun. They hid in Palm Springs.
Yes.
It's like, yes, tell me.
I know all the black suns. Like I know who has all the black suns. I know all my black suns. But it would be very difficult to. I actually had a funny idea that I don't think if I wrote about somebody, let's say for instance Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
I would give him the manuscript and let him redact it.
The whole thing comes back black.
I know that would be funny. Like just whole lines of like no, right. redact. But yeah, I also don't want to write I don't know. I know objectively that it's interesting, but at the same time, I don't want to write. All the press would just be like, you said Dave hit you, or what? You know what I mean? He didn't. He never hit me.
I was like, he did.
Or whatever. Just like all that dumb conflict shit. So I'm in a tough spot, and I also may write a pilot because Schultz reminded me of something. Andrew Schultz.
What?
He just reminded me of like just do a show about
Is it going to be the bird mauling?
No, that's only Hallmark.
Lifetime maybe.
Schultz, it just reminded me of like a thing I did. He's like, that's good. And I'm like, I know, he just like reinvigorated.
You guys are
Schultz
friends?
had the come up of the pandemic.
You think he's been doing better?
Schultz?
He was pretty popular before the pandemic.
He's doing a Netflix hour about the
yay.
year.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that like is gonna start airing December 17th. That is based on his Instagram video.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Oh.
It's also great because you can't argue with it. You can't say shit. If you're in comedy, you can be like, fucking look at the system. Yeah, if you make a video on your own,
Right.
if you make a bunch of videos on your own that are popular, you'll get called up to the majors. How could you possibly not like that? Speaking of which, if you're looking for another sort of hard ass, Seinfeld was on Tim Ferriss's podcast, and he did like an hour and 45, but it's basically just like, yeah, if you work hard, you will succeed. He used to write 3 days a week. Mitzi shat on him, and he started writing 7 days a week.
Yeah, when he came to the store after, I think the last time he was there was in the late 70s or early 80s, and he said that she shat on him, and he was like, I'm never coming back here.
He made her like a totem.
Right, of like, I'll show you.
Angry totem.
I will show you.
And he said something that I don't know if he said before, but Tim Ferriss said, like, did you ever get to speak to her? And he goes, no, but when I was doing the sitcom, when I would drive, I had a beautiful house at the top of the hill in Hollywood. And when I would drive to the studio, I would always see Mitzi walking her dogs. And he goes, I never waved or smiled, but I always made eye contact.
Oh my God, I love it.
But it was a lot of shit like that where it's like, oh yeah, this guy's a maniac, but in the best possible way. Do you remember what you did this week yet?
Oh no,
the other thing, I just watched fucking documentary. I watched so many documentaries this week. I just had nothing to do this
sometimes
week.
I saw your list.
My list is like, Jesus Christ.
It was like,
yeah.
I had the image of you watching
watching
documentaries morning, noon, and night.
I kind of did. I emotionally was a little depressed too, but I'm moving on. It was a little bump just because I didn't have I also realized the upside and downside of the vaccine is
Bell's palsy.
It's great. No, whatever. Fuck you. Who doesn't? You can't overcome Bell's palsy. You come on, hard ass.
If you're fucking pussy.
If you're so cool. No, it's just knowing like, oh, I'm not having a normal anything for 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm not
knowing that.
Yeah, it's a little. You got to trick yourself into thinking vaccine's coming in 3 weeks, it'll be normal. And then you read 2 articles and you're like, fuck.
I feel like we're the most prepared for 6 more weeks of winter, this like bad news, like, no, still not letting up. Like, I feel just numb to it. I'm like, yeah, sure, of course.
Yes.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, I was supposed to start a show in March.
Oh,
in New York past March, and then I was like, well, maybe. And then I'm like, July.
Just tell yourself 2 years.
I'm not doing. I couldn't. I know I can't do that. I won't be happy with 2 years.
No, and then you'll be happy when it's shorter.
I'm talking about now. Don't want to be miserable now, so that I'm surprised. Hey, surprise. Like, I need something to look forward to, not the worst. Think of the worst possible outcome.
What have you been looking forward to?
Fucking. Open air fucking. Or what? No, actually closed air.
Open air? You don't even like the outside.
Like a pod, like a Japanese pod fucking.
I'm just saying, hasn't this feeling like, aren't you used to it?
Yes, but I just want it to be over.
It's because you got to do a little stand-up. You got a taste of it.
Yeah, I can still do that show. I for some reason it felt like I'm just kind of not repeating myself.
Yeah, it's just like you're getting
I know the hour works. Like I know. I need a place where I can do new jokes. So I'm looking forward to not having to worry about it. I just want to not worry about it.
I know.
And like I did have the pressure of having a show coming up and like prepping for it. and this is the first week I wasn't really prepping for anything. So it was just kind of but then today I was like, hey, not so bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So moving on. Now in terms of the country, the deaths it's the deadliest week in American history.
Yeah. Did you see that meme going around that says the most deadly days for Americans?
Oh,
and it's like 9/11 last Thursday, last Friday.
Yeah, it wasn't. But by the way, 9/11 is not even number one.
No, 9/11
is yeah. Yes, it is like Pearl Harbor. And you see the Pearl Harbor numbers. You're like, why do we even know about that?
Well, yeah, now I don't know if we're numb to it. We're like, that wasn't that many. Or if it's so many and we're just...
The thing about Pearl Harbor and 9/11, spectacular. They were spectacular. They were a movie. This is not a movie. This is a traffic jam of people you don't know, and kind of the least valued people in the society. Old, infirmed, and Latino, Black, Native American. It's like, okay, well, that's not going to be... It's not going to feel like much to mainstream society. And you see other people trying to go like, someone died. And it's always a little,
what?
Like my so-and-so such and such died. And you're like, that's a little indirect. None of it is, some of it's like my dad died, right? There's a few people, my dad died or my mom died. And speaking of my mom dying, my mom emailed me and said she had to make a reservation to go to church on Christmas, at which point, I don't know if I went all caps, but I was like, don't go to church. You can't get no. I didn't know. Like, you cannot cross the street.
Was she like, bye?
She didn't respond. And then I texted my sister, like, she can't go to church. She's like, we told her we're not going. And I was like, she may not know that. She's still packed. She's still got her outfit laid out on the bed.
It's like 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah, like fucking looking at it.
No, my grandma is like, I go to church. I'm like, okay. I like, do you need? And her response is, I mean, I'm gonna die at some point. I'm like,
okay. I mean, okay. Cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna come and punch you in the face. We'll take your chances, right? We'll just see what happens.
It's just so annoying.
Run on the freeway. Run on the freeway? What are you doing? You're gonna die sometime. It's this thing of like, God is cool. It's this dumb calculation of there is a God, and it's cool with it needs me to go to church.
It's the sacrifice thing. I know I'm showing my devotion. Yeah. It's like, I also think
it's some true G shit. Like I'm a rider. No, dude, just fucking stay home. Give it a second. Just go to church twice in June.
Yeah, but I also think it's a form of like, that's your stand-up for old ladies.
In terms of structure.
Yeah, you could have just, I mean, you gathered people. Did you not?
It was outside.
But I'm just saying, like
I'm with you.
They cut off outdoor seating for a reason, even though it's outside. Like, there is a level of selfishness we've all been like guilty of. So I think with old ladies, it's just like all they got.
Yeah, I just wouldn't do anything inside without a mask, without double masks. And testing.
Wear a hazmat suit. Like, stop. They don't get tested. Also, people who are old, people who are at risk, they don't get tested that much because they're not really going that many places. But I don't know. Do you think Teresa's gonna go? If no one would go, if everyone was like, no one's going, Mom,
I guess she wouldn't go.
She'd be really upset.
Watch it on TV. What do you think?
She'd make everyone frozen sandwiches.
What do you think is gonna happen? I just don't understand that God's gonna be like, so what happened? Christmas 2020. Talk to me. What? No. Have a seat, please. God comes out like Chris Hansen. Teresa.
Lemonade in the kitchen.
God from the Bible.
Have you talked to her like candidly about coronavirus?
I don't know how do you define candidly.
Meaning, hey, do you like this is real?
You're wearing a condom.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. Early on, I felt like I was talking to I felt like the parent. It was like the full circle moment of being like, no. You cannot go. You cannot go.
My mom was like, just come up. We don't mind. And I was like, that's actually not how the virus works.
Yeah.
It's not based on if mom minds. So
they think that the virus cares about intention. Like, no, it's not a person. 2020 is not a person. Coronavirus is not a person.
No,
not anthropomorphizing. It's not a Pixar movie.
No, I do find that some people are very, very vocal about the Trump administration and anti-maskers. Just like, can you believe it? But equally as careless.
Yeah, it's like people who are for the environment and have kids.
Wow,
can't do both.
What a jump.
Can't do both.
What a jump.
Can't do both. You're a climate change denier. You heard it here. Now, speaking of the Trump administration, a lot of people are saying, so he did what they think is that what we thought was the final motion at the Supreme Court, and they got booted, right?
That was so funny. That was like them.
Yeah, it wasn't, but the Alito and Justice Thomas.
They basically said,
I know, but it's confused. It's just, it would have been funnier if it was just like, no.
Right.
But once you're in like, we don't like it, but we should have standing, all that shit.
It is interesting that all of his, but that's also weird that they thought, well, we got our judges in there. It's like,
it's not that joke I did on Daily Show. He thinks that the Attorney General is generally his attorney.
Yeah.
And he thinks that the Supreme Court are my judges. They're literally my judge. They do things that I like because I hired them.
Right.
This is a thing I own, and I hired them to come and judge for me. Like, you're fucking a moron. But he now, I said today on Twitter that he's the vegetative he's Terry Schiavo.
Why you gotta bring her into it?
Why not?
What happened to her again? What'd she get like that?
She went to church. No,
she got something taken out.
No, I don't. She was a vegetable.
Yeah, she got coma.
Coma, but more specifically, it was that she should have been. She was in a persistent vegetative state, and it was then she went into cardiac arrest. And then she had a massive brain damage due to lack of oxygen to her brain. So they had her on computers and synthesizers for. They had her on shit for years, and that's what Trump is basically like. He's on a ventilator, even though he's not on a ventilator.
Schumacher.
His presidency is in a vegetative state. It's technically alive. It's worse than a lame duck. It's a lame duck on life support.
He's not doing shit.
No, it's like in terms of pursuing, maybe he'll be another 4 years. Like, no. You've got people pretending in the fucking.
It's Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, it's Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend
it's
at
such
Donald.
A fucking.
It's
creepy. Yes, and then the other thought I had was people saying that this will be a stain on the Republican Party. The fuck are you talking about? No one remembers shit. No one remembers anything. No one remembers that he got impeached, and none of them use this will be a permanent stain. It's all a permanent stain. Yeah. They have stain guard. They have that thing where you pour water all over yourself and it just runs down.
Yeah, the Rain-X.
Yeah, they have Rain-X. They're covered in Rain-X. They're Rain-X Republicans. Their elephant is covered in Rain-X. They're not. No one remembers shit.
Yeah, no, people don't take into consideration what politicians do and add them in real time. It's just there's too much shit. There's
too much shit, and also our metabolism is too fast that you don't even remember the impeachment. You
with this presidency, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. COVID and Trump and also the internet. There's no fucking history. I don't even know what they're talking about. Like, permanent stain. It didn't even go into the fat. It's Rain-X. Is that what it's called?
But it's called Rain-X. But the thing is, when I think about what when Republicans made us think about Obama, I think of mustard, Benghazi,
But
that he was great
but they look like morons.
No, but it's just like
because they try to make a big deal about nothing. And by the way, it kind of helps them in a weird way because it makes people becomes a boy who cried wolf thing where you just go, what are they saying now? They're saying the other side a lot. It just becomes all of them are the same when there's Republicans are, in my opinion, orders of magnitude worse when it comes to dumb bullshit and Travelgate and fucking they just
said dumb.
When somebody, I mean, they're gonna do it to Biden. Poor Bo. Not poor Bo died.
Bo died. Hunter.
Hunter. Poor Hunter.
It's gonna be Hunter all day long.
Yeah, fine. I just don't care. I don't care. That's fine. It also Hunter had
What?
Hunter.
What about Hunter?
Let me. This is my blank on Hunter.
Okay.
Egomaniac. Narcissist. Drug addict, and all of his contrition is performative. That's what I think. I don't think he's a bad guy, but I'm just saying when I look, I just go like, oh, I know this kind of guy.
You know this guy, yeah. You pegged him. I mean, when he got together with the dead brother's wife,
he did some weird shit. He has a kid with a strip. He just has like Hunter's basically a rapper.
All you need to know from Hunter is that laptop shot, you know, that they took from his that they sold.
Well, I never even saw the picture. What was
Hunter
it?
Biden hacked.
It's a laptop.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about the picture. Yeah, that one right there with this. You know. It's like, yeah.
What's he doing? He's smoking. Everybody in the world has that picture.
No, he looks rough.
He's a cool drug.
Yeah, he looks
guy.
cool, but he definitely looks like he's down with all sorts of things.
Whatever you need.
Whatever's happening. This guy, he's getting you whatever you need.
Yeah.
He knows a guy.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna have to skim. I'm gonna have to take a little off the top. Yeah, I don't. So whatever. So yeah, I don't. I just the permanent. It's like shut up about the permanent stain. And people got mad at me on Twitter when the impeachment happened, when they were like, history will remember Mitt Romney, and I was like, history's not remembering.
I remember Seamus, the dog on his fucking.
People's not. It's like, you'll go, oh, by the way, he voted for impeachment in a vote that didn't make a difference because he knew it wasn't going to pass. Like, who gives a shit? You
know what they're talking about, though? They're talking about the kind of scorekeeping or check and balance that the 24-hour news cycles do. Because they will pull a clip from years ago. It's like they're all so in that world.
Right.
That
but
it's like,
yes,
this will be a thing. It's like,
a
sure.
thing that you
Someone
mention?
Will be able
it will
to...
be mentioned, but it's not it's not important in any way. It's not important like, and they tried, and you did this. What about Bush v. Gore? And just like, I don't fucking...
What about, okay, I have a question. Do you think how fatigued we are on fucking politics at this point, throughout the last 4 years, do you think that's going to carry over to Biden? Or do you think we're going to start caring all of a sudden?
He's not, because he's not a star.
So Trump's you think we're going to... No, I mean, do you think we're going to... If something happens, do you think we're going to care? I feel like our care-o-meter is broken. It's like, just fucking get us back to work.
I still think people care. I think they're exhausted, but I think they care. I think people pay attention even though they don't want to. If I'm not on the line, it's because I had an ayahuasca revelation.
But you're different. Like, for example, I didn't know all of the, like, I don't always remember Obama's AG. I don't remember. Maybe you do, you know? I'm
Eric
sure you
Holder?
do. Right. There we go. Like when you say it, I'm like, oh yeah. But with Trump, he was such a star. He had such star power that everybody participated a lot more than general. Do you think we're going to go back to like not really caring?
Because Obama was a star too, and it was black, so it was like get black AG and
yeah.
I just think it's like you need a star. You need someone. You need a charismatic person and an ongoing narrative. And I don't think Biden
has that.
No, It's just not. He's not fun to watch. I'm happy he's president, but
No,
it's not fun to watch. It's not smooth, and he's stammering every speech
he
now.
bombs
Not
eventually.
even like the stammer. He fucks words up.
Yeah.
He it's Kyle Dunnigan's impression of him. So goddamn funny.
It's so good.
So I just don't buy that there's going to be a permanent stain. And like Barr got fired today.
Did he get fired?
Well, yeah. Like I just had a nice talk, and he's going to leave a week away in a week.
Is there anything for Barr to do?
He resigns, whatever. No, that's it's over.
Okay.
So he's not gonna be able to like clean his desk out and like play solitaire for the last 3 weeks.
But even this didn't like.
It just happened when we were sat
did
down.
It? I was like, this happened.
But these guys are heroes.
Sorry, which guys?
When people are like, he'll live in infamy. No, he's gonna live in fucking wealth by working for white shoe Republican law firms. These guys are heroes for the rest of their lives.
To a certain part of the population.
If he goes to the 830 club in DC, he's going to get booed.
Yeah.
But he ain't going. He's just going to go
They know where they're wanted. They're just going to stay in the bubble, stay where they're wanted, and it'll be fine. And also, it's like Florida, Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. So it's like, you'll be fine.
He
can't really go back to New York.
Yeah, you become like, I'm big in Indonesia. You just fucking hang out in Indonesia.
My friend, I don't know if I told you this. My friend, she's French, and she has like her uncle owns a chain of grocery stores on a small island off the coast of France, or some French-owned island. And she did a commercial for him. And one time, when she went back and visited, probably 10 years later, everyone's like, oh, "You're the girl from the commercial," and she's one of the most famous people in this little tiny island that no one's ever heard about.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's basically that, but for half the country, 70 million people.
70 million people. He's fucking
he's in that commercial. He's the guy from the grocery store commercial. Yeah. Basically, that's what he is.
He really basically is. That's so funny.
There was a MAGA March on Saturday.
Was it where?
It was like
DC?
In DC, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
what happened?
A lot of guys in gloves.
I'm
and
sorry.
Oakleys.
Are we still? What are we protesting?
They don't nothing. They just want to get it. They just want to be
like.
It's like, you know, when a bunch of guys need to do a chore, and it becomes like a thing. Like, we're gonna move the thing. That's what's happening. They make it more, or they make it like. I brought the winch or whatever the fuck we got to get something out of the river, and then it becomes like a whole thing of like masculine, like, you got to lift up, everybody explaining things, you're gonna throw your back out and the fuck. That's what this is writ large. Now, the problem is people that should know better, counter protesters, show up, and then one got shot, a few got stabbed.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Gang.
Now I got gang.
4 stabbed. Just let them. They, without tension, without resistance, it's a fire that puts itself out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're not going to be able to do anything. They vandalized some black churches. Pretty cool.
Wow, really?
Yeah, pretty cool. There you go. There's them boy. They got my gloves. All wearing them cool gloves and horrible sunglasses.
It's so cringy.
And you're all fat. All of you are fat to a person. And the only people that are in shape have cameras, so they're photographers. You hit fat, old, disgusting, unfuckable, white Taliban is what they are. They're white Taliban. Same aesthetics. Same aesthetics, just different trucks. Yellow, goofy fucking kilts.
It's so funny how UK and like Commonwealth culture has morphed into this in this country. Like a lot of my Jews will replace you. Oh my God. China, Mika?
Oh, this is the
defund the police?
This is the Antifa side. This is the counter protesters.
But why are they against Jews? I don't know.
Because the MAGA guy said Jews will not replace us.
Okay. So it's like both slogans
actually,
bad.
Jews will replace you. No, they're
Both
not.
slogans not
They
good.
will as what? Pharmacists? What are you talking about?
Oh my God. That sign was
ear, nose, and throat doctors. Jews will replace you.
Nah, that sign's not good.
Yeah.
China Migra. These sound racist too.
Chinga migra.
Oh, Chinga. Thank you.
I don't know what that means either.
Chinga
They're
migra.
bad. Again,
They're
this
bad.
is losers. This is the lefty losers. And they're also like, I mean, I agree with more of what they have to say, but I don't think we should defund the police. Jews aren't replacing anybody. And I don't know what Chinga migra means. I don't know what that means, and I don't even want to look it up.
Chinga migra.
So what I would say to people that are more sympathetic to our point of view, just don't go. It's like arguing on Twitter. It's just a fucking waste of time. Just mute it.
Are you telling people not to argue on Twitter?
I'll start arguments, but then I'll mute it.
Wow,
I
that's
won't.
It's like talking shit and blocking someone.
No, it's great because everybody thinks a thing's happening. I don't even know about it.
Okay.
But I don't like intentionally write something and go like, we'll see. I'll write something that I mean. People will go, you're going to get in trouble. And then I just mute it. So nothing happens. And then they try to bring it up in my permanent record. Like, that's why Kelly Clarkson's daughter should have a Just for Fans joke that you made 2 months ago that that I can't even remember.
Kellyanne Conway.
Yeah, Kellyanne Clarkson.
Kellyanne Clarkson. That's so funny.
Yeah. So just don't go to these protests and let them. They thrive on resistance. Like these protesters need a thing like, what? Fuck you, and then just don't go. At Charlottesville.
That one was different.
Yeah.
Because this is a Trump rally. You know what you're getting. They were protesting an actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were counter protests the actual thing.
Yeah.
That one I understand a lot more. But this is just like, they lost.
Yeah, they lost, and they're trying to they're like, looky here. They're looky hearing.
Right.
Basically. They're just looky here and like, looky here. well, all throughout D.C. Like, well, it isn't the Supreme Court. And they're trying to intimidate a building. So just don't pay attention. We kind of covered COVID.
Yeah.
A basketball player is in a coma right now. A kid who plays for Florida. He went up for a dunk in the middle of a game, and there was timeout, and he came out of the timeout and just collapsed.
Is this NBA?
No, Florida, the
state or something.
Florida, University of Florida. So he's in a coma, or he's out of it. He's in critical but stable condition.
Oh,
here's
no.
the thing that's not in the first. He had COVID like 3 months ago. So it's that long COVID thing where it's like, yeah, maybe you fucking pass out in the middle of basketball games if you this Hank Gathers died like 30 years ago. He's a basketball player, or 30 years ago. Basketball player and college player, and he had a heart disease that he didn't really know about. And this could be long COVID. That's where when I think about going on vacation, I'm like, fuck.
I know. I mean, I still have very weird stomach issues,
Interesting.
Still.
Do I want to hear about them?
Oh, yeah. No, it's not gross. I don't get hungry until, remember I was like not eating until 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
But no hunger pains. And I could probably go 2 days without feeling a hunger pain. And it was so heavily in my stomach. It was just this awful feeling in my stomach. And I just think it's permanently weird. It's nice. I guess some people would argue, it's not the opposite. I'm not constantly having hunger, but it's real. There's times I need to eat.
Yeah.
I am not eating. I'm eating, I probably eat once a day.
Grits and eggs.
What did he say?
Grits and eggs.
Grits and eggs. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, white guy.
Collard greens.
Collard greens.
Collard greens. Okay. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I said what only?
It's the only difference was the COVID.
Yeah, I said last week, somebody we know 3.5 months couldn't taste or smell. Healthy, young black guy.
You know what's funny too is that I know someone that had the antibodies eventually, but in February. So we don't know when he got it, but he had a heart attack and they had no idea. He's like 32, 33, had a heart attack, had 2 heart attacks. They had no idea why. And then a short time later, he tested positive for the antibodies. And it was weird. Like did not fit one statistic to have any cardiac issues. And then he tested positive for IgG antibodies. So it's like everybody thinks.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Okay, so I just scare you.
No, I don't. I'm aware of all that stuff. I mean, people have people I know.
He's 32.
Have long symptoms or long after effects. And it's like, I have zero interest in that.
Yeah.
I'm stir crazy, but it's a bit like being in a bunker in war where you're just like, just stay in a bunker.
Just go somewhere close.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Listen, I know plenty of places.
I'm with you, but I want warmth.
Okay.
That's
How
where you
warm?
get into 80. I want 80. Give me 80.
Give me 80.
Give me
Padre wants 80.
I want 80.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, 80's tough right now.
Oh, honey.
80's tough, buddy.
I know. That's the problem.
Buddy. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy, right here.
That's the issue.
Okay.
So, but I also don't want to have a heart attack or not be able to taste. You guys know that tasting's one of my favorite things. I love sniffing. Ellen, sick.
Ellen sick. Production halted.
Ellen at home. You want to know how sick she is? Didn't text me back.
Wow.
That's how sick she is.
Not the first time.
I think it is the first time.
Really?
It's the first time she's ever not. Yes, she's very punctual with text.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you texted her once and she didn't respond.
No, she did, and no. She's always responding.
That's a good skill.
She's
habit.
got a high batting average. Yeah.
Where's the?
But yeah, that's how. In fact, worse than not texting, went to green. So I don't know what's happening.
Wait, what do you mean? You texted her and the thing turned green?
Yeah.
Maybe she wisened up and got a Galaxy.
No, nobody's that. She doesn't need money that badly.
Shut up.
So I
Only
don't
you.
I don't know, guys. We're in real trouble.
Her text turned green.
Her texts are green. So that's another side
you
effect
call
that
the
I can't
cops?
live with. I can't live with it. I'm going to call the local hospitals and then have the cops do a break-in.
A wellness check.
Yeah, wellness check. Thank you.
Are you worried?
About her? No, she'll be fine. She posts a picture where she's fine. She'll get whatever she needs to get, I'm sure too.
Are you gonna get it?
Well, all right. So moving on. I talked to somebody. We talked to somebody I know knows a billionaire. The billionaire said, I'm just deciding which brand to take. And then I talked to another billionaire and he's like, I'm not going to jump the line, which I don't know if he got offered it.
That sounds like I'm not going to.
No, but he's like, I'm going to wait my turn. I'm going to wait my turn.
You don't think he's been offered it?
No. But jumping the line, he's not going to jump the line. He's not going to jump the line if he's not going to go before a nurse, right?
Do you want to jump the line? That's the weird thing.
I want the fucking vaccine.
Right now, you would take it.
What am I waiting for?
I just want.
Wait, hold on, guys. This is where we realize that Bianca's an anti-vaxxer.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, hold on, guys.
Heavy metals, mercury. No, I'm just be nice if a whole round of people got it before me.
Why? But because you don't trust it?
No, just everything I've researched about vaccines and how long they generally take to find out all the side effects and stuff. It would just be nice to not be first string.
I will happily.
That's not
go.
wild. What I'm saying.
I don't think it's wild. I think it's flirting with anti-vaccine.
No, what the fuck? It's not at all. Anti-vaccine means.
I think you're flirting pretty heavily. I think you have your cleavage open to anti-vax.
I'm going to church on Christmas. Okay. No, I don't. No, I want to see all the side effects. I don't think they don't work or they cause autism.
What do you think they'll do when they have side effects?
What do you mean they will do?
What do you think whatever the companies will do? AstraZeneca and all this.
If there's a lot of side effects from a vaccine, they halt the vaccine. They try to figure out what's going on. They retest and stuff.
Okay. I mean, they tested it. The numbers of people they tested it on, I feel like they would have gotten. They had a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, I know. I know. I looked
because
I saw
100. Was 100,000?
I think in how many countries? I think it was UK.
Do you know the number?
Of the number? No.
Yeah.
Because I thought there was. I don't know how many total they did it because they did it in a few countries.
Can you do how many people? I don't know how many people.
Thousands, tens of thousands.
Yes. I read one today that's at least.
Yeah.
That's a really good amount of people.
No, for sure.
So
I'm just.
I would rather. I get that there's some risk. I happen to just kind of inherently trust institutions because I'm white.
Because you're white. I was
and,
like, you can say it.
I'm white, and because I think we need institutions to have a society that runs well. We need the New York Times. We need the Washington Post. We need legacy media and drug companies.
Right.
It's not worth putting out something that's going to kill people.
Oh, no. No, I'm not saying I believe in vaccines.
Okay.
You're talking to me as if I don't believe them.
Well, no, I don't even.
Because only someone who doesn't believe in vaccines and that they actually are like, no, they're trying to like.
Well, that's what I wrote down is that. So 50% of people that they polled so far said they'll take it, no questions asked. 26% don't know if they're going to take it or not, and 23% or 24% are they're not taking it, and it's like, okay, you're just these are not the people that don't know anything about science. They never have. They know about like they never have. They've never known about science ever in their entire lives.
All of them have their immunizations.
Right. Yes, that's a whole
other
other
issue. Which is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
they all have no measles, no.
You've
mumps,
never gotten polio.
Yeah. No polio vaccine. All of it. They have. Let's say all of them have it, and suddenly they got advanced degrees in immunology, and they just want to be. It's the question on the study minus will be like, hey, are you a sucker? People go, nah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's it. Just like, no, I ain't. I just want the record to show I ain't no bitch. Like, okay, I'm a bitch. Okay,
Neal, they're just trying to keep it real.
Yeah. Like I don't fuck with vaccines. Yeah, you fuck with you fuck with aspirin. You fuck with it. If you're like the hardcore Jamaican who doesn't do anything like that, fine. But just like a guy who there's this group of people who every conspiracy is believable. No questions asked.
Come on.
No questions asked. No, it's like you're a fucking moron if you don't. So you think we need to ask questions of everybody except the conspiracy theorists? Like, no, him I would never stoop to ask the simplest follow-up. I would never insult him like that. But a company that's been around for 150 years, I got a few questions, yes.
Everybody that I know that's anti-vax, I don't know that many, but on Facebook, old high school people, they've all done cocaine.
Of course they have.
Like, I've seen you do cocaine. I haven't necessarily seen all of them, but I know everyone has partied. I'm like, how into heavy metals were you when you were
they weren't. Yeah, somehow. It's just selective.
It's like, the ecstasy? We had no idea
who got
what we were.
The cocaine? Hunter Biden. They were partying with Hunter. They went hunting.
Stupid.
Yeah. So go fuck yourself. It's the. Did you watch the Bee Gees documentary, which we'll get to?
No, I'm finishing the fucking Room, the accusation.
Okay. Bee Gees documentary. There's a point in.
I love the Bee Gees.
It's great. It's great because they have stories of how they wrote songs.
Cool.
And
I love the Bee Gees.
How they developed the sound, the multiple. Basically an accident. they were just like, go in and do ad libs on Jive Talking. I think it was Jive Talking, one of their like pre-hits. First of all, they wrote How Do You Mend a Broken Heart 10 years before Saturday Night Fever. So they were a well-known band. Yeah. I won't get into it, but there's a point where, do you remember the Disco Sucks movement?
I wasn't around for it, but I remember.
So there was a DJ in Chicago named Steve Dahl, and they had a Disco Sucks rally in the middle of a White Sox game in 1979. In a doubleheader, they had a rally on the field, 1979. My brother was an usher.
No.
And got punched in the face. And I remember the next morning, I was 5. And I remember thinking then, why would you be against disco? I just was like,
that's so
like,
funny.
It was a fucking riot. But I remember just thinking like, this is like, what a dumb thing.
How was it? I know you're only 5, but what was the feeling? Like, where did that come from? Did disco just take over too much? It was
anti-vaxxer. It's the same. Chris Martin from Coldplay had a good observation. He's in the documentary, and he goes, at a certain point, there are no more interesting opinions about the Bee Gees other than like, no, I don't like them. No, fuck that. It's like where people get like, fuck the Macarena, and you're like, is that actually
said that?
Whatever the
no,
song?
I know what you mean. They go like against
every
the,
comic
thing.
said fuck the Macarena. You know what I mean? Like that simple, like low-hanging fruit, shitty, dumb person premise.
Was disco just everywhere?
Yes.
I feel like it probably took over a little bit.
Yeah, it was. Well, now culture's so splintered that something can be really popular and you can completely avoid it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas then it infiltrated radio, clubs. Like they would open nightclubs to have disco, to have a disco. It was just disco clubs, which is what Saturday Night Fever is about. Saturday Night Fever is basically a sports movie, but dancing.
That's funny.
That's what, I mean, it's like, we got to enter the contest. Right. I got to do the contest. Like, that's the premise of the movie.
And they
it's
all
like,
had contests? Like, that was real?
No, but it's good. It's a good frame for a movie, what I'm saying. So,
I mean, every language, in most European languages, the word for nightclub is discotheque.
Disco. I know.
Discotheque.
Still the best. I still love saying it. Like, you want to go to a disco? It's fucking funny.
I'm old.
Yeah, I'm old, I tell you. So that's what anti-vaxxers are. Like, nah, I don't fuck with disco, the Macarena, fucking skinny jeans. I ain't no bitch in no skinny jeans. I don't. Okay,
right,
cool,
just
man.
All the things.
And I'm against that. It's like, so you're dumb? Are you a dumb person? Nah, I'm the smartest motherfucker you ever met. And you're no, you're dumb.
That's the problem, is that when you tell someone that they're actually not, someone that thinks they are so good at critical thinking that they are not doing like an ounce of critical thinking. They're just taking misinformation and like regurgitating it. I mean, how do you tell someone like, dude, you don't get it?
There's a thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is
you said
the people that are the least competent people think they're the most confident. They did a study. They just believe like it's Dunning-Kruger. Like for a long time, it was like a thing that women were saying about men in comedy, and it's kind of like men are pretty good at comedy though. But like they think it's Chelsea Peretti used to do that joke about every guy thinking they killed when they get off, which is a fucking great joke.
It's really funny.
I happen to not live in that world, but yeah, it's just that. It's the. I'll talk about it more because someone there were a bunch of letters about people. The guy who thinks he can do stand up and like some guy makes a bet wants to make a bet in a letter that is so dumb.
Okay, I'm excited.
It's so dumb that I want to talk more about it.
You know what it's like remember when it was like Laurel, Yanni, that shit?
Yeah.
I heard the one most people weren't hearing, Yanni. And people are like, it's saying Laurel. I'm like, no, it's not. It's saying
Well,
Yanni.
that
And it's
is
like,
a
dude,
genuine perception issue.
no, I understand that. Oh, no, it's like actual frequency. But when someone was trying to tell me, no, dude, it's Laurel. I'm like, you can't tell me it's not saying.
Well,
Yanni.
yeah, then another thing kicks in.
But that's what
motivated
it's
reasoning.
really hard to tell people that what they truly fucking believe is nonsense.
Well, that's the problem with Fox News and whatever the fucking other one's called. OWN, America's Talking.
OWN,
Newsmax.
OAN, Newsmax.
Yeah, like you can't explain to them like, no,
Also,
you're
production value on those so low.
It's public access with slightly better looking people.
Yeah,
you can't explain to a ignorant person that they're ignorant because then you're like, you think you're better than me? No, I just happen to know the fact. What even is a fact? I need to see how they did it. Okay, man. On everything? Let me guess, but not food and cocaine. You're fine. You assume Red Bull is Red Bull, and you assume meth is meth, and you assume all the other shit that you just inherently trust. You fucking, I don't even know what to call them because I pity these people. Cleveland Indians.
No, really?
Say goodbye.
What they changed it to?
They
Cleveland,
Cleveland
baseball game.
The Cleveland baseball team. The best options. Hit that. Here's some of the best options, including the Spiders and the Rockers.
Spiders?
They're going to go with Rockers because they're still trying to rock the Hall of Fame thing.
Spiders. Naps? I don't get that.
Cleveland Naps.
Maybe they're saying.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, they were called the
Naps?
Cleveland Fellers. I thought it was Feelers.
Fellers?
I was excited.
I know. They're big fans
Bob
of the podcast.
Feller, an author of legendary. He's the author of a legendary fastball, the greatest pitcher. He's the author of a fastball. He wrote the fastball. He would write letters and then hand them to the pitchers, and they would say fastball, and then the umpire would hand them a note that said strike. It was a weird way, but it worked.
Wild,
For the people of Cleveland
time.
loved it. Cleveland Cuyahogas, they're gonna go with Rockers.
Blue Sox. Why not?
Because
We
there
don't
was
have
the
Blue
Red
Sox.
Sox and the White Sox.
Yeah, blue.
Yeah.
Throw it, Hazards. Buckeyes.
Burning River's kind of funny.
Burning River's tight. And it still sounds native. Okay, you're going to.
How about the Cleveland Nowheres? How about the Cleveland LeBrons?
Stupid.
Huh? Are we talking? Again, should have.
These were not bad
They're
options.
not bad. They're not. Yeah. Then people go, no, Native Americans don't even mind it. It's like, first of all, why'd you say Native American? Huh? Because you know not to say Indian.
Right.
But, and also it's one study from a long time ago. They don't care. It's like, no, there's other studies where they said they really care.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
care.
yeah, but there's one. They did a study. The global warming's a hoax. Oh, this is interesting. And a side note. Biden and we should have talked about it 2 weeks ago when Obama said when you get into a slogan like defund the police, you're dead to rights because you're too easy to paint as socialist,
radical,
and all that shit. And then Biden basically said the same thing on a recorded phone call. He did. I will say that was about the phone call. He sounded competent and angry, which I liked. He just sounded like, hey man. He was doing the hey man.
Yeah. Hey man.
Hey. I'll tell you what.
You see that one when he does that? It's so funny.
So I think we're both pretty realistic about defund the police as being just a dumb.
No.
What was the better one? Refund the police? It's refund the police.
Refund.
That's what they
really
just
funny.
need to move money around.
Yeah, or
they need
refund
to
the police
refund. They just need to
refund the police is good.
Refund the police.
And then
is
the police are like, we're getting some cash
rebate.
back. Rebate.
My scratchers.
Mail-in.
It should be refund the police, and because then it feels like
we're not getting rid of police. Hello, we're not going to send a bunch of therapists out to
reallocating.
But this is the problem with slogans. It's that either
slogan. Here's the problem: they're great, and people love them.
Here's the problem with jingles. No, the problem is like white privilege, Black Lives Matter, defund the police. It feels like you've gotten I feel like the people who make them. Okay, so if you want,
I think we talked about it. It's the person.
It's like, do you want a good attention grabber? Okay, but then you're gonna have to sacrifice really communicating effectively to the target demographic. So if you're saying white privilege, okay, look, I'm listening. What? Excuse me?
A brown woman's listening.
No, everyone is like gonna react to white privilege. White people, black people.
White people, when they hear white privilege, they go, "This doesn't sound good for me."
No, that's what I'm saying. So at this point,
I don't even know what this is, and I don't like it.
I don't know if I want.
Hey, get away from my wallet.
So white privilege, for example.
That's when I get my gun, like the guy in St. Louis. Well, I get my bug assault. No, my gun, like the couple, Bonnie and. Yeah.
So let's just take white privilege. At that point, you don't care if whites understand. Because either you're fed up or you're
taking whites out of the equation. You're like, fuck you. I don't care if you like this slogan.
And at that point, I think you get these slogans when people do get pushed. I don't think there's a beginning of an issue. And then.
Jim Clyburn said, James, I call him Jim because we served in the Senate together. Or actually, he's not in the Senate. He's a whatever, the other one. He's a Houser. He said, "Burn, baby, burn," hurt civil rights movement. Which I didn't even know. Burn, baby. I mean, I knew. I didn't. I didn't know. I knew it was like involved. I knew it was from the '60s, and I assumed it was like letting something burn. But it was about like why. It was about burning down burning down shit in the name of social justice, and he believes it hurt the civil rights movement, which is fucking very interesting. And it's the thing that people got mad at me a couple weeks ago, that liberals don't think that they need to persuade people because they're so right. How could I possibly need to have an effective slogan? White people do have privilege. So what's the problem? The problem is I can tune you out, and I'm gonna.
But the thing is, though, with white privilege, I think a lot of white people did not tune that out. I think
white people?
I think it's a trigger for white people now, because some people are like, there's no such thing. But like, it's a controversial thing to say you're benefiting from white privilege. It is.
Right. But if it makes people like that's not a good slogan. The good slogan is like, oh, okay. Oh.
But I guess, okay, so then let's figure out, is the definition of an effective slogan to kind of attention grab and gain like attention for what you're talking about, or is it for you to really understand what I'm talking about? I think there's a little bit of both, because
I think it's to get as many people in the tent as possible. Civil rights movement is a great title. Mm-hmm. Everybody's for civil rights. Literally the whitest white person's for like my civil rights.
Right.
And movement. It sounds like I might gain from, I'm a white man. I might gain from this civil rights movement. Will I be able to bring my gun everywhere? Can I bring my gun to a maternity ward? Then I like this. And then movement, it just sounds like,
yeah,
cool. Where do I'll go with you guys, and you follow them.
And still people had a problem
and still
with
Martin Luther King got shot. People had a problem with the activity, but what I'm talking about is a persuasive slogan, or I Had a Dream is maybe the best, right?
Martin Luther King and the Mountaintop.
I Had a Dream is maybe the best because he's basically not imploring white people to do anything. It's just like, hey, do what you will. I had a dream.
And still his disapproval rating was bad. So I don't think when it comes to race in this country,
you don't think there is such a thing as a good slogan?
I don't think so. I think sometimes it's like, well, fuck pandering. Just make it, let's just be angry about it. I don't think, we're kind of proving the point. Like in the 60s, there were good and bad ones, and it still,
yeah.
The approval rating for
they still shot Fred Hampton.
Amongst other people. So it's like...
No, only Fred Hampton.
That was it. He's the only casualty.
That was the end. They had a list that said Fred Hampton, and they checked it.
And then if you look at the signs, a lot of them are so mild and passive and just like coloreds want equal rights.
I'm a man. How dare you?
I'm a man. Let me live peacefully. Like, it's just, I feel like it's hard to say. I totally understand your point, but I don't think we've figured out the right thing. So the thing is, white privilege, now everybody, even the most suburban
Sounds like what
white...
you're saying is the Cleveland, they should keep the Indians as their name. Because fuck it. You're going to hate us anyway.
Right. Just
because we're from Cleveland.
The thing is, though, I will say every white person, even in the most lily white place, has a reaction to the word white privilege. They've heard it. They either believe it or don't, you know, whereas some of them don't make it that far.
I think all these, they're all, it's like cancel culture. Is there a better way to say, because you can, like Trump mentioned cancel culture yesterday in reference to the Cleveland Indians thing, like cancel culture's dog. It's the fucking, how about the least you can do? How about minimal consideration? That's a bad combination, but cancel culture makes it gives people like, I'm against cancel culture. All right. And it's like, but if you are you against minimal? It's like, are you against not calling certain groups certain names? It's not a lot. You're just like, it's cancel culture. Yeah, but what are we I'm just canceling the word. We're not even canceling it. Just don't, if you can, don't use it there.
Also, everybody on both sides cancels. Everybody. The moment people move a millimeter, like when Tucker Carlson, I don't know, a few weeks ago we talked about it, when I went on the Reddit, everyone's like, he's canceled. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You're on a Tucker Carlson subreddit.
Yeah. Oh, because he wouldn't let he thought that
the lawyer
people shouldn't. He thought a lady was crazy. A crazy person was crazy. Yeah, you may be right. I just know that tone and messaging are like the secret sauce of the world.
Yeah.
And as much as like, fuck it, we're done with that. I don't know, Obama got elected. You know what I mean? Like, it's not impossible, and Obama wouldn't have got elected with fuck this whole motherfucker, burn baby burn.
Why you say it like that?
That's the black guy voice.
Jive.
There is a guy in, is it the Bee Gees? I was watching a documentary, and there's a guy. Oh, they talk about, they cut to New York in the middle of the Bee Gees documentary about, it was blackout and there was a guys, black brothers used to talk like this.
Who's saying this?
There was a black guy in the documentary who talks like this, and they stopped talking like that at a certain point in the world. Like, black guys, stop. You see, if you these long, I know it sounds awful. This is a very good impression.
Your face is very funny when you're doing.
Baby, they stopped. Black guys stopped talking like that. I don't know why. Eddie Murphy's black guy is basically that black guy.
It's a little jivey.
Say, baby.
Right.
When I was like around when my brother got punched in the face, that was like the impression of black guys.
Yeah.
Like, say, my man.
You can hear when old comics come to the store and they'll be like the guy, well, I won't say his name, but he's just like, and then I was a cool cat. Oh, whoa. I'm like,
but there really were guys. When you see this guy in the documentary, it's like, why? How did you talk? How the fuck did you sound like that? I don't know if it's from the Black Panthers or what, but it's pretty great. I love when people talk one way and then stop.
I'm a Southern black woman.
No, that guy's keeping it alive. He did a jive. That's so funny.
Now.
Okay. This is crazy. Did you read that?
Well, there's a trouble in the VIP room.
In this winner circle.
In the winner circle. I don't know this section. Who wrote this section? My friend Devin Delaquante is one of the best writers at The Daily Show as far as I'm concerned, and he texted me the other day, the Trouble in the Winner Circle song is so fucking good. It's
great.
Crazy great.
It's that one and the fucker. I can't think of it. The one that we never play. Where are they now? She's a real artist. Yeah, she's amazing. Thank you.
She's going places. She's on my team. I just spun around in my chair. You're on my team.
Dude.
Okay. FK. There you go. FK Twigs
Yeah.
is suing Shia LaBeouf for physical and emotional abuse, and went to the New York Times. I don't know if, I guess it's a civil suit.
It's a civil suit.
Yeah. And he was, headbutting her.
It was
Don't look
weird.
at men.
Loaded gun next to the bed, so
Loaded
she
gun
was
next
scared
to
to
the
get up
bed.
and pee. And knowingly,
Well, he lived in Disturbia, so you know what I mean. You got to.
he never got out. Yeah, unknowingly gave her an STD.
Yeah,
That's fucked
that
up.
was a tough one.
That's really fucked up.
Yeah,
And she was like, if I'm gonna out you, I'm gonna out me too. She Eminem, Mariah carried him. If I'm gonna out you, I'm gonna out me too.
yeah.
So we all got genital herpes.
Yeah. Now
Sounded awful.
the what's funny is,
Something's funny.
of course, something's always funny. He'll still get way more girls than me. I know a girl, I didn't even know she dated him until somehow it came on a girl I know dated him, and I was like, not long ago. And it's like, Neal, he's a psycho. We all know he's a psycho by this point.
Neal, I love how you made this about you.
It's all about me. My brother got punched in the face. That's my brother ended disco. I could make it more about me, and I won't get into it because somebody else responded that I'm not going to. Somebody else said that she outed. Somebody else that I know said that Shia and her had a relationship.
Ooh. Oh, well, no, that's been outed. That's out.
I know that's out, but I'm not.
Oh, you don't
want to?
Okay, I was gonna say. Okay, yeah, no, okay.
See, I'm tasteful. Even when you think I'm tasteless, there's a level of tastelessness that I'm not doing.
So much attacked.
I just, again, if a guy's a scumbag, avoid him.
Well, no,
I don't
she
think
didn't know.
I know she didn't know, and
But
there was the honeymoon period of that
course.
narcissists do when they love. It's called love bombing. It's the best term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah. Love bombing, where they just like, it's all about you, and you just know
It feels like this is not
can't be sustainable. Like, you'd have to quit your job.
Yeah.
In order to continue
to lick
love
my
bombing.
pussy this much.
Yeah,
It's
to lick my pussy from the back. Yeah, but he'll still get way more girls than most guys.
Even with the GH.
Yeah. Did they say GH? Is that genital herpes?
They said, well, yeah.
There's actually the only one, right? Other than AIDS? I mean, like.
No, warts.
Right.
No, warts stay around.
Right.
Warts linger. It's like your body, it takes a long time to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So you got to burn them off and then, or
Here's
freeze
what
them
you
off.
do.
I learned this from Hunter Biden.
Get a torch.
Yeah, no. So genital herpes stays around. Genital wart stays around.
So if it's got genital in the title, you don't want it.
No. But it said in the thing, we didn't need to Google this part, but.
Killed stray dogs.
Whoa.
Yeesh.
He killed stray dogs?
That guy, the thing about Shia LaBeouf, he's a loser. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have any. He got tattoos because he was playing a Mexican gangster.
Which was a terrible.
It's like, remember when he would get in rap ciphers and do other people's raps? He's like a weird runaway kid.
Yeah, he's like a boxcart child.
Yeah, and which I get, like, he truly is like mentally ill. But
dude,
people fall for that status shit.
Have you ever seen him at the store? He behaves the way he was behaving at the store was very weird. I don't know.
I think he was on the patio. I saw him maybe on the patio.
he would, I don't know. This doesn't say anything about his, I don't know. This is not totally disparaging. He would go into one room, order a drink, go in the OR, order a drink, go in the belly, order a drink. And we'd all be like, where the fuck is Sean?
Oh, that's just fame.
You think that? It was.
Yeah, that's just like entitlement.
But then he would go back and then leave the amount. Like I'd hand him a bill. Like, fuck you, dude. What the hell?
Yeah.
And then he would look at it, leave, go to other. Just it was so.
He's a weird.
He's just a really
he's a
weird guy.
mentally,
Which is not illegal.
damaged,
Just
ill,
seems weird.
something. It's the kind of guy who enters rap battles and does other people's raps. Like there's something fucking.
Whose rap did he do?
I don't.
Will.
Look it up. Will.
Will, please. This is the most interesting thing.
Shia LaBeouf rap.
Oh my god, you're crazy.
But one stolen rap.
Stolen
rap battle. Might have been stolen from a female rap group.
He just
he copied lyrics from a 1999 song. Please don't play it. We can't take it.
Right, we can't. There goes your salary, Will. Oh.
Yeah.
So he just did someone else's.
He does some. Yeah. It's just like a weird, like, hey man, what are you doing?
But it's this like need for attention, sort of.
He had a legit bad childhood,
Yeah.
like that, and that movie's very good.
Which one, Honey Boy?
Honey Boy, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the one where he was like Mexican.
No, I'm not gonna see that. But congrats on the tattoos. Good idea.
They were real?
He got real tattoos to play a part.
You should see the trailer. It's terrible. It's laughable. It's so bad.
I get it. I've seen enough bad movies. I can figure out how they made a bad one. Where but like, I'm committed. And it's like, what do you do? It's just some weird, uninteresting shit.
Yeah.
And then the abusing women. It's like, all right, dude, you got to go.
I think this is bad for him.
It's very bad for him.
I don't think he's going to be able to do.
I don't. But it's not as big as like Mel Gibson.
No, because I think he's been weird long enough that it's not
exactly
like.
Right. Like
what?
he's kind of grandfathered his way in. Like, no, I get to be weird.
Right. He just, if you stay weird long enough and then still work.
Mm-hmm. But
the kisses, on the thing it said he had a quota of kisses a day and would keep track of how many kisses you didn't give him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very weird.
I met FK Twigs one time. She seemed like a nice person.
Oh, sad.
So, bless. There's also something about you don't want to date a guy that's that high status. I'm saying that to all the ladies out there.
So they'll
don't
come
be
to
attracted.
Neal.
Hey, ladies, don't be attracted to what you're attracted to. Ladies, medium status.
Question.
You understand the key to your future? Medium status.
You know a lot of famosos. Do you think they all are a little demented? Really high status. I'm talking about the real high status ones. Is there a high status normal person?
Rock's pretty normal.
He seems really like spooky to normal.
Yeah.
He's just normal.
He's very normal.
Where are they now?
Yeah, there's some. You just have to make it. It's like I was talking about Will Smith last week, where it's like his family was just like, "Hey, you're being a dick," and he was like, "Oh, okay," and then he just changed.
Yeah.
Or stop being a dick. Like, I think it's possible, but the problem with this, with most celebrity problems come from a either mentally ill part. It's just power and money. Everyone works for you. No one will say anything negative. So you just.
Yeah. I
was watching a doc last night that's not even on the list called City So Real about Chicago. It's like a 5-part series. The guy who did Hoop Dreams directed it.
Wow, really?
And it's Steve James. Yeah, it's good.
So far?
It's about the mayoral race and the Antoine McDonald shooting, just a bunch of shit. But Kanye's in it, and Chance is in it, and Kanye's basically gone now.
Yeah.
And Chance, there have been some articles recently, like Chance is off the reservation also from money and power, and I'm firing you, and I'm only going to hire my family. And
what'd you hear about Chance?
There's just a whole lawsuit and his old manager suing him, and some of it's like the inevitable showbiz cycle.
Yeah.
But then somebody sent me a documentary and about what he's just fucking up and not he like set a release date before he had songs, shit like that, where you're like, dog, nah, you just gotta make good shit and then release it.
Yeah.
It's inevitable unless you have you almost have to go in with a plan.
To stardom?
Yeah. Like I mean, Rock specifically doesn't have an entourage because he's like, I see what it does to people.
What does it do?
Everyone works for you.
So you just don't have a
every day
real
is your
friend.
birthday.
Mm.
It's all your birthday. You first, champ. Ha ha ha.
Oh
Woo.
God, no!
All
How do you
the
get
time.
out of that? Because
You
it's
can't.
addicting.
Well, you have to isolate yourself. You just have to realize that. I mean, some get married. There's a whole opposite thing, which I'm sure I've talked about, which is a lot of time guys, famous people will get married to assholes, women. Like I know a lot of guys that married assholes because they thought, oh, this is how people used to treat me.
It's so funny.
And it's like, no, she's just a dick. Yeah. You don't have to overreact to everyone being obsequious and nice to you. Just your friends will be nice to you sometimes.
Yeah.
They won't agree with much of what you say.
Is that why Rock keeps you around?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like, I'm not nice.
No.
So I think that's, you can't even, I think if people go like, Neal's a ass kisser. It's like, I don't think, not from what I've seen.
No. I've seen you say really funny things to pretty famous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm like, Neal, no.
That was fun. There was an article where, who's the guy, the basketball player who dated Iggy Azalea?
Oh yeah, Kyrie.
No.
Joking. He has that meme, the question mark meme.
One of the great memes.
Steve.
Yeah, Nick Young. Nick Young.
Oops.
Steve Nash said he needed to retire because Nick Young used to say to him, like, man, what was it like to just be able to dominate motherfuckers? Like, he's still in the league.
Oh, what was it
yeah,
like?
but like, what was it like? And I said it to
Ouch.
Rock, and Rock goes, you do this to me every day.
Oh, no.
No, but I'm also not like, I don't know. Whatever. So if you're Shia LaBeouf, you keep getting chances. He is talented.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, I saw him on Project Greenlight when he was a kid, and I was like, that fucking kid is good. I didn't know anything. I was like, that fucking.
You didn't watch Even Stevens?
No, man. I was
so good.
Sorry, I was 28. But like that kid, I was like, that kid's I don't know who that kid is, but he's fucking good. And then when you're talented, you'll keep getting chances. And you have money, and no one's gonna tell you that you're full of shit, and you can do enough shit that makes you think you can go to AA. He goes to a 12-step program, and it's like, he's, as part of his statement, he's like, I go to, someone who goes to a 12-step program, and that becomes, you're like, well, how bad can I be?
Yeah.
I go to a 12-step program. It's like, oh, that shit's bouncing right off you.
For real.
You've got you've got the necklace, you've got all the shit, but
coins, got all the coins.
Yeah, fuck coins. It doesn't mean it's just cover for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel bad for FK Twigs, and her album was fucking great.
Yeah.
And she was nice when I met her. And that's all I can say about that. And
brother got punched in the face.
Yes. My brother got punched. My brother is the reason disco is where it is today. Well, let's dog watch it.
Dog watch. Dog watch. Dog watch.
That song could be shorter.
Yeah. The reverb at the end.
You know, Will, get in maybe on the second doc watch. Get in late, leave early. That's it. That's the whole song.
Okay.
That's all we need. We have a mandate here. We have a movement where we're going to shorten the songs.
We have a privilege.
It's a movement. Room 2806, the accusation, which you're watching.
It's so interesting. The Frenchies. It's interesting to see how. I mean, I know it didn't. It's basically about the head of the IMF.
This is a recent story that I couldn't believe how little I remembered.
Really?
From 2011. I remember Dominic Strauss-Kahn as a guy, and I remember the trial I remember the whole thing in a very ambient way. I didn't have specific memories of any of it.
I remember he assaulted a black immigrant.
I was like, oh, right.
Everything was like,
right. Okay, yeah, Dominic Strauss-Kahn. Like,
so he was a French dude, head of IMF, assaulted a maid in a hotel in New York.
yes.
That's just for whoever doesn't understand.
Yes.
It just was so funny to me how the French were like, he's passionate.
The funny, it was so funny.
The crusty, like Keith Richards kind of looking dude.
Yeah.
He
There
was
were
like,
5 different French guys saying in thick French accents, basically like, why can't I touch a woman's pussy?
He was like, you don't want your president? Do you have a passion?
Passion? It was like, oh, God,
well,
don't.
It wasn't a...
What passion? I guess I want him. No, I don't want him to have passion.
No.
How about that?
It was the first time in a
I
documentary.
said I want to fuck her.
I thought about that a ton.
I did too, Gainsbourg.
Yeah.
It was the first time I was like, wow, NYPD, I like the way you operate. It was the
what episode are you in?
Oh no, I know. When the guys high-fived, I was like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm on episode 3-ish. So what I mean though is that it was just so rare to see in a documentary in a sexual allegation case, the cops being really supportive.
Yeah.
I know there's something going on. I know. I haven't finished the documentary because it's episodic on Netflix, but
I don't think the cops were in on it.
No, I don't think they were in on it without. But I do think it just was. They also wanted to get him, kind of, you know. And I liked how that person said, "You think being a celebrity with cops is always going to go over well, but sometimes the cops are like, oh,
you think you're better.
You
than
think
us.
you're better than us?
Yeah.
Like
that's what Dave calls the real celebrity treatment.
Yeah.
It's like now with him, it happens 1 out of 100 times. And he's like, see,
1 out of 1,000.
See, this is how they really want. It's like, yeah, but what about the 999 other times?
But yeah, it was weird to see the opposite side of it. And I don't know. It's really an interesting look at infidelity and sexual assault and how that's being taken in the French side. That was really fascinating.
What was funny. Yeah, I wrote a thing down.
What?
It would I don't know. It would be a good update feature of a French guy going like, "What? You're saying that?" Like a French lawyer going like, "No, so you're saying I cannot?" And they'd be like, "No, you can." He's like, "Oh, please. Look with your pedestrian."
Passion.
Yeah. It was the last episode was great.
Okay.
I mean, I thought every episode was really good.
It was
I thought it was
really
well made, and
yeah. You know what I don't like? I can't stand this thing they do with the fucking times coming in.
They did them wrong.
They
those
did them
graphics.
wrong.
They did the graphics backward. They tried to do what the Bulls documentary did.
Yeah, but
they did them. They would leave the date would leave the screen. I was watching it going like, what? Where would this make sense? Because I don't think that's the way the French do dates. It was like leave the left side of the frame. It would leave the left side of the frame, and the frame would be empty, and then it would come up on the right side, and it would be the past.
It was, and then they would play the 911 call, and they'd be like 1 day before the 911 call, and then they'd play a snippet of it, and I'm like, were there 2 911 calls?
Yeah.
It was like I couldn't tell if they were saying this is the second person he just. It was like
that's where you get into like, do you do the video reverse? Like,
no, but
you know what I mean?
So
like,
cheesy.
there's hack. I know it's just a.
Or don't play the audio when you're saying 1 day before the audio.
Right, but it's relevant to what they were doing.
I don't know. Anyways, but it's interesting. I can't wait to
finish it. You're gonna love the ending.
Okay. I'll text you.
All right. Alabama Snake. Did you see this?
I did. I watched it when you told me to.
Whew. Some of it gave me the willies.
It was really dark.
It was. I can't even explain what it was. It was like a cult. There's like snake charmers But in America, like in Alabama, it's called Alabama Snake.
They're just Christian extremists.
They're like extreme Christians, and they're like basically it's a level beyond the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
Like you do the Holy Ghost, and it's like, all right, well, can you just grab snakes and play with rattlesnakes?
No, yeah, it's saying there's like a line out of the Bible.
Yeah. That says
they're
like,
basicly
do
saying,
you fuck
"Oh,
with snakes."
We
But what about snakes though? Is the line that spoke THO. That scared the shit out of me. I won't get into it anymore specifically. It's a hell of a truth, ain't it? Was on HBO, Hulu.
I thought you were saying that about the Alabama snakes, and I was like,
no,
this is truthful.
No, it's a documentary called "It's a Hell of a Truth, Ain't It?" And it's a prison documentary.
Okay.
But the way it's done is really good because the prisoners kind of made the shorts.
Cute.
But it's not that cute. It's not like I made a short. It's not sentimental like that. But they do. The woman director did cut together a version. She put like an hour together, and then showed it to them, and then they show them watching it. And then being like, do I talk like that?
Cute.
Like, that shit's cute. But then they were like, well, what should the story be?
Right.
It's interesting. It's like a little meta.
Is it them
interviewing
trying to
each other.
film make? Or
yes,
is it they
got
made
the
it and then we're just watching?
They're trying to film make. The woman's sort of like I think they all filmed and did interviews. And then the female director took the footage and did some animated sequences and then there's cut to the interviews because it's the cameraman's not a prisoner, I'm assuming.
So it's not locked up.
And it doesn't seem rudimentary. It's not. It's like well made. Yeah, it's good, and it's just a good new idea. Bee Gees, of course. I call them the teethies. Because their teeth are so giant.
Wait.
The Bee Gees.
Can you pull up a photo of the Bee Gees?
Barry Gibb.
Oh my, I can see it from here.
Yeah, I mean, the teeth. What I was saying is, and they were
they're nice teeth.
From the start, they're all too big. All of them. But they all had them from the jump.
Yeah,
from
this
little
wasn't
kids.
veneers.
And what I kept thinking is, imagine how much louder they could sing without those giant teeth in the way. Those giant sound baffling teeth.
Did you ever do like a decade very stylistic thing, like this feather
I would
hair?
love to do that.
No, did you ever get like in the 80s?
I had
did
Bob. I mean, I had the Kurt Cobain. Bob. And before that, I had like the Michael J. Fox mullet.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw one picture of it one time and it made me laugh so hard. But I saw it like in the late 80s and I was like, I cannot believe my hair was like this. Yeah. And the great thing about, like I said, they have stories about how their songs are written, which never happens. And then they had Noel Gallagher from Oasis talking about being in a band with your brothers, which is like, yep, all right, this is good. And it's another thing. Timberlake talks about them musically, and when you hear the way Noel Gallagher, I think it's Noel or Liam, the songwriter one, the one who doesn't sing very much, or now he does, but the way musicians can talk about music, you just like, you can't talk like this. Like they know, like Timberlake says, all of the Bee Gees vocals could be horn parts.
Wow.
Fucking know that. You know what I mean? Like that's not a thing I even would know to think. He's like, yeah.
Funk-infused beats.
So shit like that. Noel Gallagher said it's like having, it's like when it's your brother, when it's your family, that's a sound you cannot recreate. You literally can't make that sound unless you were born they have one of the Jonas Brothers. So like that shit was interesting. They didn't have any bad interviews basically. And they're one of the groups that was able to culturally appropriate, kind of, and black people had to fuck with it.
Yeah, it's
just like, yeah, this shit is nice.
Yeah.
Like,
Or it's like when average white band. It's like,
Average White
perfect.
Band.
Just call yourself average white band.
Yes.
You can
Casey and
do
the Sunshine
like-
Band, Average White Band, and Bee Gees, like Black Hall of Fame. Come on in.
Come on.
Come
Water's
on in.
warm.
Like, no, can't say shit. Like, you wrote what? When it's hard to believe that a white person wrote that shit. Some of those bass lines where you're like,
Mike McDonald. I feel like these just, it's like so smooth,
it's
so
when
good.
the Average White Band, you're like, they're not white.
They're not
They
white.
can't be
They
white.
can't be white.
That's a joke name.
That's a joke name.
But sure enough.
And they're funny because that name is hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny. Yes, agreed.
That was like, it's funny when I was young, no one knew because it's not like today. I don't think younger people would understand, but no one for a long time knew Vanilla Ice was not black.
Before 91?
No, when he came out at first, like when his song just played on the radio,
Oh,
a lot
for like
of people,
a month or
for
something.
like a,
Yeah.
they're just like, yeah, he's, even though it's like Vanilla Ice, because you don't see a photo of people immediately.
Yeah, back then it was hard to get a photo.
It was.
You'd have to get a magazine. You have to go to a store.
You had to go buy, you had to do work.
Yes, it took an hour. If you wanted to see what Vanilla Ice looked like, it was going to take you an hour. It was like an average Will search. Will, will you look up Staying Alive lyrics?
Well, you
The
can't
other
tell
great
by
thing
the
is
way,
fucking Barry came up with
New York Times is making me.
no, he came up with the producer. It was one of these things where the producer was the Bee Gees manager, and he optioned the rights to the movie, to the store, the New York Magazine article that the movie became based on. So it was like all in how he signed Travolta to like 3 movies for $1 million.
Wow, really?
And it ended up being Saturday Night Fever, Grease, and a bomb, but who cares?
Yeah.
And
Xanadu.
but so Barry Gibb's on the phone. He's like, yeah, I have. The guy's like, you got any titles? And he's like, I got Staying Alive and Night Fever.
Wow.
Because those were songs. Right. Those are the song titles. And he's like, he goes, I got to have Saturday in it. So I'll make it Saturday Night Fever. And you just go, Saturday Night Fever is 70 million times better than Night Fever.
Yes.
It's crazy. He said Night Fever sounds like a porn. And
Yeah,
he's
Night
absolutely
Fever
right.
does. It's Night Fever.
Go to the beginning, Will. There was a lyric that I wanted to tell you. You can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. This guy fucks so much that he doesn't even have time to talk. I don't have time to talk because I fuck so many women. I'm on my way to fuck women. If I see you, I'm putting away 7 or 8 women.
Really, women warm. Music loud, women warm.
And you may look the other way. We can try to understand the New York Times effect on man. I don't think that's the right lyric.
Yeah, it is.
The New York Times
can
effect?
Make a man. No.
That's what I'm saying. I don't
New York
think
Times effect on man.
I don't. Yeah, these are the wrong lyrics. Go to Genius.
Go to Genius. Effect.
We can
New
try
York
that.
Times.
That's
No.
even better now.
Yeah.
The failing New York Times.
The failing New York Times effect on man. That's weird.
And they're bad lyrics. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive.
Is this a Mandela effect?
Feel the city breaking and everybody shaking.
The rhymey ones are kind of.
Yeah.
I like the New York Times part.
We will get low. If you told me there's a line, we will get low in Saturday Night Fever.
Well, now I get low and I get high, but I can't get either. I really try. Yeah.
Got the wings of heaven on my shoes. I'm a dancing man. I just can't live.
Oh, wow. This is hilarious. Wings of heaven on my shoes. That's deep.
But they have, so the stories of writing these songs is great.
Writing rhymes.
Seriously. And it's the documentary's great. God bless the documentary.
Do you have ownership in the documentary?
I don't. But it's
love this
exciting. I
documentary.
watched it twice.
Oh my God.
I watched it. Trayvon sent me a link, and then I watched it like last Wednesday, and then when it aired Saturday, I was like, let's go again.
Wow.
Let's run it again.
You know, I can't watch a movie twice, ever. It's impossible. It's torture to me. if I watch
Like
a movie.
Goodfellas.
It has to be years in between where I forget a scene or two.
So you've never been in the phase where you're just watching a movie over and over?
Impossible, and I don't understand how people do it.
That's
It seems
really?
like
I
kind
can't
of
understand what
demented.
you're doing.
So what happens is, I see a movie, right?
I don't understand you.
I see a movie, and if I watch it again, my brain is constantly tormenting me with what the next scene is going to be. So I cannot get into it because I'm just like, yeah, then he does this, and then it just won't let me get into it. So it's just constantly reminding me of the next scene. It's not good. Some people watch movies.
Barry Gibb likes to sound out lyrics.
What's that?
What? He just they have the session of How Deep Is Your Love, but he's like, your mouth is. I have the Michael Jackson when Thriller was called Starlight.
Oh,
it's different lyrics, but there are people that like Shia played on Howard Stern. She wrote Diamonds, the Rihanna song, and she does she would sound out lyrics. But I don't think it's a good way to write lyrics because you end up with like, I'm a woman's. I mean, I got dancing. We can get low. I think you got to write poetry. The only way to do it is write poetry and then see if it matches.
What's the movie you've seen the most? Do you have like a fave? Serendipity?
Trainspotting. Goodfellas. There's a documentary about Radiohead called Meeting People is Easy that I used to just watch incessantly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Mulaney watched it incessantly too. I didn't know that. He told me that like a month ago, and I was like, dude,
this is why we're friends.
But also there's shit in it that like is indelibly. It's about like the drudgery of the road, especially when you're a sad band.
Sad band.
And so it's about like the walking to photo shoots, and like that's not fun. They never show you the photo. They just show them like, where are we going? No, we've got to tower lobby floor, and they're on the elevator and whatever. And yeah, I think the older you get, you kind of can't do it anymore. But I watched Trainspotting like 40 times. Many people see it 40 times.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's a very good movie.
Trainspotting is amazing.
I've watched the only movie I could do that with. Okay, there's one. It's just Shaft. But not
the old one?
No.
The Sam Jackson one and Busta Rhymes one?
The Sam Jackson, Christian Bale. It's so weird.
From like 2002? I think Busta's in that.
Is he?
Yeah.
That one's very good.
You should know. You've seen it more times
no,
than
I haven't watched it in a while.
Jeff Wright's in it. Christian Bale. Yeah, that's the one.
That one I can watch.
That's funny.
I don't know why that one.
Yeah, Busta Rhymes played Rasan. I don't know if you because you didn't.
Oh, Rasan.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's funny that Scott Rudin directed it because he's like one of the best directors in the world, and it's not a good movie.
It's a good movie, actually.
It is?
That's the only. It just is. It's that really good. I don't know. It's just it's an easy good movie.
Like pulpy, like that movie The Brothers or something, where it's like we're going downtown to take care of this, and then they cut to.
It's like watching. Kind of, it's like
where's he at?
No,
that type of shit.
It's like like a Negotiator or something. The
Negotiator's not a good movie.
Well,
but
you know what I mean.
mean.
That '90s kind of what is it? The Die Hard.
Well,
there's something to figure out,
Yes.
and we have to get to the bottom of it. That kind of thing.
Like I would say Die Hard 3 is better. The New York Die Hard's better than
Zeus.
The one that
Zeus.
I don't know.
With Sam Jackson.
The one that's in New York. Yeah, I think that one's good.
That one's so funny because, so you know how that's the one where they make him go say like, I hate niggers. Yeah. So I was watching it on TV.
I heard he improv that.
He improv the wood. So I was watching it on TV and they censor it. So it just says, I hate people.
Oh,
and the people are like, hey man,
don't say that.
What the fuck? And it's this group of dudes coming and it's like, he's like, and then Sam Jackson's like, what are you doing with that? It's so funny because it just says, I hate people.
That's excellent.
It's excellent.
That is excellent. And I'm going to watch that over and over, but on YouTube.
Shall we?
And then Tiger Woods,
Oh.
America's Son, ESPN documentary, and it got
Good,
really
or
good
what's going on?
reviews. And then it was more about his meaning to black people, which is a
Minimal?
yes, but why and how it came to be, how they went from. And just like the PGA Tour used to have 11 black people, now then it had 1 when he was on it, and now it's got 4. And Tiger Woods used to be more militant, where they said, "Is there anywhere you want to win?" Especially, he goes, "Yeah, I want to win at the Masters because of how they treat blacks." And you're like, all right, shit like that, where footage I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
That's good. So that's coming your way, guys.
Okay.
Well, let's do some letters.
Let's try.
Will, honey.
It's time to check that email.
Oh, he's trying to send us a message.
Oh, he's like,
well.
okay, you want a short
He
one?
really fucking truncated it.
You've got mail.
Hey, Neal and Binks, longtime feeler. Your conversation about the word retard, I blurted this out to nobody but the algorithm selling me shit on Facebook. And Neal kept referring to the etymology of the word. The study of the origin of word is etymology. Entomology is the study of insects.
You idiot.
Had to drop a line, word nerds matter, keep being awesome. Then he said
love it.
peace, which now he's cool all of a sudden. He
Peace,
says shit like peace because he smokes dubs. Oh, this is about you, so why don't you read it?
Okay. Hey, Feely and Thinky. Hey.
Louder.
Cool, thank you. LSTNR. That's nice. Oh, wow. He's
He's really trying to
petty.
send a message.
Last episode, you guys were talking about how ever since taking the liquor of the gods, you kept seeing and hearing ayahuasca references everywhere. What you are experiencing is called the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon.
Played Bader-Meinhof.
Bader. No, it's Bader-Meinhof. It's German.
Yeah, you're right. That was a trap.
Yeah, okay. Entomology fucking
This- see.
expert.
Bader-Meinhof. And there's a bunch of movies about it.
The Bader-Meinhof complex is not so much about that.
So
About
this
these-
guy's wrong.
No, the phenomenon is different.
Oh, got it.
The
Got it, got it,
Bader-Meinhof
got it.
complex is about this like
So it's got a complex and a phenomenon. It's that good.
It was about these like people taking.
It's a movie and a TV show.
It's because someone heard about the Bader-Meinhof terrorist group
the terrorist group.
twice in a row, so then they named this after it.
Or the frequency. All right. So frequency illusion.
That's
Great.
the phenomenon.
Great.
Frequency illusion.
Yes. Once somebody's been noticed, then every instance of the thing is noticed, leading to believe that it's high frequency of occurrence, a form of selection bias. Great.
I like it.
Never stop. Will
Yeah.
really killing it.
Goodbye. You've
Greetings,
got mail.
Neal and Latinky. Clinically depressed middle-aged white man here. My wife is a tough as nails smoke show. My wife's the tough as nails smoke show.
That's really funny.
Who for more than 20 years has hunkered down in the foxhole with me and taken everything depression can hurl at us.
Aw.
In particular, since any medication that works for me also obliterates my libido, she's had to endure over a decade of essentially a sexless marriage.
Yikes.
This was until this past week. I don't know what switch got flipped in me, but there's some real animal type shit going on around here several times a day, sometimes in hilariously inappropriate contexts, et cetera, et cetera. And needless to say, my wife has been over the moon about the change. She's a smoke show and she's over the moon. Here's my pickle. Although, of course, I really hope this is a permanent change, given my history, it's reasonable to think that it's probably temporary. If so, then we really need to make the most of it now. I'm pretty conventional in my taste, and frankly, I'm just happy to be fucking. But my wife has always had more of a little freak in her, and I'm pretty sure that secretly there's some truly appalling shit she'd like to get up to. Fine by me. I really want her to get to do anything she wants to do. But the residue of her deeply religious childhood means there is no chance she'll tell me what she wants if the has any feeling that what she wants is shame. She fucked up.
Yeah, okay.
I need some help, and soon. My own inclination is just to enjoy what we're doing while it lasts, and she certainly seems to be thrilled just as things are. But I know I'll feel terrible if I return to the state of sexual catatonia, and then it seems to me that she regrets vis-a-vis unfulfilled desires. Yeah, desires. So he's saying, what should he do? If you suspect you're not fulfilling your wife's needs, I have an idea that I've always had that I think that you will not like, Bianca.
But he says... Okay,
he's saying, like, how do I get my wife to admit she wants to do shit because she's got so much religious shame tied up?
Right.
It'll be hard to get her to admit it.
Okay.
Here's an idea I've had.
Yeah, tell me.
Have a questionnaire.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
But the problem is I can't. It's perfect for him because it's his wife and
for sure. That's
but the first thing I do if I hand a woman a questionnaire, she's gonna go, "How many people have you done this to?" And then I got to tell her a lot. But it in terms of long term, it's highly effective. She would be happier in the long run.
But the problem is that questionnaire is
right.
going to also have another page stapled to it, which is going to be like a sex schedule and
what we're doing when, what freaky shit we're doing when.
That's the problem. It's a slippery slope.
At 1:30, I'm hanging out the window, bitch.
Then you're going to start. I just feel like the worksheet, it's going to be a slippery slope for you. It's a worksheet for everything.
But you're not wrong. But I will say, what if I didn't do the worksheet? I think Jimmy Carr should do it.
Why, Jim? Don't bring Jimmy into this.
Because he's married. And I know he's listening.
But she's satisfied, I'm sure.
Would
Jimmy,
it
I had your back,
shock you?
Jimmy.
Would it shock you if she wasn't?
He wears robes.
It's a great point. Anybody who wears robes is fucking at least 3 days a week. And
Well.
He's got that robe dick. Robodick.
Oh my God, Robodick.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So if you're a married man or you're in a committed relationship, you've got to make the questionnaire and make everything available. Because the thing about sex is, if you're into something, you assume everyone's into it. And if you're not, like I'll have sex with a woman and one woman will be like, yes, butt stuff. And then another woman will be like, why would you even pitch that? Do you know what I mean?
That other woman sounds uptight.
Right. Because you're not a square.
I'm not square. I'm not
they
like,
don't say why would you pitch that.
I'm just saying, like, why would you pitch that?
No, it's not that.
But it's the energy's a little like, whoa, man. No.
It's a bit like, no. Which, again, I don't, but I'm saying it like, I don't know I have no idea what you're into. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
And if I guess wrong, I'm going away for a long, long time. Upstate.
So, okay. Yes. What have are you so dead set on certain sexual acts that you kind of feel like, I really need to
with a
get in that
woman,
booty.
again, with a woman, it's not even about butt stuff. It's about a menu of like, don't forget all this stuff's available. We can do all this stuff. So I'm not saying you want it tonight. I'm just saying in general, are there things that you would like to do that?
Yeah, maybe they're not comfortable saying.
Yeah, like, and if to make someone say like, I want you to spit on me is weirder than just like a box that just says spit.
Oh.
Or butt stuff. Whatever I'm just, you're like, ugh.
You know what would be better? No, I'm just thinking about it because I'm like, but what would be better is the reverse. Have options, say, pick the ones you don't want. So I don't have to really say I want butt stuff. I feel like that would make women more comfortable.
Interesting.
Just say what you don't want, and then
it's like you have to opt out.
And the other
voting.
one is just like
opt out of being a organ donor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like don't look at me.
Nothing. Yeah.
Don't look at me. Just do if I
nothing feet.
Yeah, no feet, no this, but then the other stuff maybe she wants or maybe she's cool with, but doesn't want to say. Some girls don't want to be weird, freaky deakies.
Yeah.
So I feel like
I think you're right. Then you're into amount.
No, come on. What do you mean amount? Just whenever.
Slapping, choking.
Whoa. It's on your list.
I know, but I've never, this is the thing you can't explain to women. if you want me to slap you on the ass, why wouldn't I think you want me to slap you on the face
No,
or choke
Neal, that's
you? Or,
weird. Slap
Bianca,
on butt?
Why is spanking anything?
No, but you're equating all parts of the body to like pain. Pain on the butt. The butt can take a beating. Your face. I mean, face is kind of rude. I'm not saying women don't like it. I'm just saying
Choke, all of it's, I mean, it's all rude.
right. But me wanting
The
my
act of
ass slapped,
fucking is rude.
it's so fucking rude.
It's rude. It's violence against women.
Very rude.
It's
yes.
controlled demolition.
Why does it have to be against women? It's violence. It's just called violence. If I want my ass slapped when I'm, God, Mom, turn this off. If I want my ass slapped when I'm riding you, that's different than an open-handed slap
I would have, not that I would have,
in the face.
I get you, but I know people, I've slept with women who wanted to be slapped in the face. And guess what they wanted before that? To be slapped in the ass.
I know, but why not just not assume that?
I'm not, but what I'm saying is.
You're saying, what's the difference?
No. I'm not saying what's the difference. What I'm saying is, if as a guy, I don't understand why you want me to slap you on the ass. To begin, I have no desire to be slapped in any way. I want all pleasure across the board, right? So just the idea of any sort of whipping, slapping, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So I don't even understand the logic of it.
So you don't glean any
So if
pleasure
I
from it.
sleep with one girl who wants to get slapped on the ass, and then I sleep with another girl who wants to get slapped on the ass and face, the next time I sleep with a girl
Who wants to
and
get
I
slapped in
say,
the ass?
no, if I say, you want to get slapped? And they go, yeah, that's where you get into the opting in is more, I'm trying to be sex positive with the sextioneer. Sectioneer.
Sectioneer.
There's nothing else we can say about it.
That's the sectioneer.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Well,
know,
I've never fucked a woman, but I think
it's not. I don't recommend
not
it.
that-
It's not for. It's not for everybody.
overhyped.
Phew. Yeah, it's just that's
Rude.
the difficulty is everyone thinks that very few women just go, no. You go, ugh. Even you who's into things that other people will go like, ugh. When I say slap, spit, you're like, ugh.
No, my visceral reaction was mostly to you saying, slap on the ass. Why do you want to get slapped on the ass and not in the face? That's kind of weird. Like you could make some arguments.
Right.
That's all
of
that
course,
was.
Yes,
That's all that
but
was.
what I'm saying is some people want both, and some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
want to be
for sure.
choked, and some people want to be spit on. Some people want they want you to steal their credit card and run up $1,000 worth of debt. Some people are into kinky
not
shit
a
out
problem
there.
with your moist mouth. Not
I will bring a tablespoon.
Ew,
Know
shut the
that.
fuck up. Okay, so I have a question though. Why do you need it to be so like a standardized thing?
Because I
don't
don't
guys
want
wanna
any
know?
shame. No, I don't. That thing of like, let's figure it out.
No?
No, I don't. I've never. That's why I like schedules. I just don't. I don't want to figure it out.
It's custom.
Women like customs and pageantry more than men do. I want to know what you want so I can do it effectively.
And not like everybody.
I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be weirded out. I want to go to the edge of what you want and then go no further. Okay. So that's what I want.
Your heart's in the right place.
It's always in the right place.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hi, Spirit Padre and Madre. Wondering if you've had the chance to listen to Ezra Klein's new pod with Michael Pollan. I have listened to it today. More specifically, Pollan's assertion that recreational use of psychedelics aren't as useful mental health-wise without a therapist before, during, and after. Wondering your opinions on that, given your recent usage of different settings. Maybe we can discuss on the ayahuasca cast. Did you think it is useful or completely controlled? Do you think it is only useful in a completely controlled mental health care setting? Would it be more helpful with more or less guidance? What Nank think? What Pickenting? Summer and Curtin. I realized that there's got to be, with ayahuasca especially, it's really potent.
Yeah.
And so you just have to be around someone who really knows what they're doing and has a protocol.
How would you advise people after having done a few?
Just go with somebody.
How do you
go with somebody that go to like a church, somebody with a active practice where they do it and they have a group. They have like a regular group, or they have a scheduled. Usually, it's like these people have twice a month weekend excursions, and then there's also just go to Peru or Brazil, and they're all pros.
What about you've done it with friends and you've done it with a bunch of strangers. What do you notice a difference?
I'm very to myself just because I think that's the way to do it. What Michael Pollan was talking about was having a supervised shroom trip, a heroic dose, 5-6 grams with a therapist to talk to if you want. The problem is there are not many of them who are easy. Like I had one scheduled and I was like,
what?
This lady.
What's the problem?
She just didn't quite, something about it seemed too fly by night. The person that I was going to do it with. So I backed out. And that's me. I don't give a fuck.
You really do.
So this lady, you know how dusty she had to be. So yeah, do it in a with ayahuasca, do it in an environment with a shaman who you intrinsically, the shaman that I went to with Bijan and Catherine, the first night I was like, this guy's a fucking goofball.
Right.
And I mean, the guy we used was an absolute goofball. But then the guy I went to, the first night I thought he was a goofball. And then the second night,
you were like,
I was like, this guy's legit.
Yeah.
And it's basically just like a feeling.
Absolute goofball.
Absolute goofball. It's basically just a feeling. Like, do I feel, do I trust this person to kind of think of them as a therapist, or think of them as somewhere between a doctor and a therapist. And
like a
but
tour
the problem
guide,
is
kind of
tour guide's not official enough. It would be more like a safari guide.
Yeah.
Like this guy knows a shitload about animals and like lives out here
and can be like, no, we gotta go.
We gotta go. Why?
The
I
birds,
can't explain. Yes.
The birds.
Yes, exactly. Yes. But we tend to think of these people as drug dealers.
Who?
People that have dealt with drug dealers our whole lives in drug interactions.
Oh, yeah.
So who are these people?
I just was like, I don't feel like I was.
What? Who? Neal? Yeah,
I
so
just don't
we're used
feel
to
like
a guy
ayahuasca's a
coming
drug.
over and like, hey man, like Mulaney's joke about like smoking weed, hitting on our girls and smoking part of the thing we bought from him. It's just kind of a weird.
That's so funny that was like standard.
Kind of was standard. Now because of delivery services, it's more just like, here you go, thank you, goodbye.
Right.
Back then it was just like, you know Jeff? Yeah, man, how do you know him? And then you got to talk to this guy for fucking 35 minutes. Can I use your bathroom? And you're like, oh God.
He'll never leave. What did you think about him
Michael
saying
Pollan?
that? Yeah. Him saying that do psychedelics.
He's right. He didn't, at least on the Ezra's podcast, he didn't talk enough about
ayahuasca.
No, he didn't talk about ayahuasca. He mentioned that there's ayahuasca churches for what's legal. Let's talk about mushrooms. Talk about psilocybin. So psilocybin,
Cypress Hill,
whatever you want to call it, Cypress Hill,
Atlians.
So yeah, so I would say I would rather do ayahuasca. The next time I do ayahuasca, it's the only time I do ayahuasca now. It's going to be with a real pro.
Who's a real pro?
The guy,
Inca face, or the other dude?
Not the guy we went to.
No, not the ultimate goofball.
Not the goofball.
But the
I don't still want to say their names, but
I'm not saying their name. But the other.
Yeah.
The other.
Yeah. I've only been to 2.
Would you do it would you go like travel?
Yeah.
To? Peru?
Yes. Peru, yeah. But not that, I don't want to walk. Just
carry me.
I don't want, that's, getting a picture of Vanilla Ice was like doing an ayahuasca trip in Brazil. So yeah.
Goodbye. You've got
this is an
mail.
interesting question. What's good, Neal and Binky? I'm a 39-year-old white male, and I listen to a lot of rap. From young until now, it's been the largest and most consistent musical genre. I'm cool with it. Thanks, bro. Most people that know me are cool with it. It's been an ever evolving. Yeah, what year is this? Is this 1985? It's been an ever evolving process of what it means to be a white man of privilege who listens to the work of people of color who live differently. By the way, black people, I hope you're happy with white privilege, and now you have to listen to white preambles all the fucking time.
This.
You did this to yourselves. You had it too good. You asked for too much, and now you have to deal with fucking white preambles. Ugh. I listen to everything. Each week I'm putting up music on my phone, with Thursday night being the high point for new music. Whoa. The latest ripples that my partner is about to give birth to our first child any day now. Outside of a wild curveball, we will be having a little white girl. First, what's your advice as I continue to listen to the music I like now with growing impressionable ears, who I'm told can glom onto a word and repeat it without warning? There's a lot of problematic shit for a little white girl to repeat. Second, Binks, how do I, as a father who likes listening to music where mostly men say super foul sentences about women, explain to a more developed brain that what's being said, I think he means less developed, that what's being said is just part of the package deal of rap, and that we should never think any of this is okay if she's confronted with it in real life interactions or medium of art in her orbit. Asking now because who knows where any of us will be in 2 or 12 years. What do you think?
I don't know if you have to say anything to her.
Interesting. You did grow up around Cuss Day, though.
Yeah, we had a Cuss Day, so I'm from a different side of the tracks. But I feel like a lot of this shit, you just get the streets teach you.
The streets aren't going to teach her.
Someone's going to teach her, which is like her friends. Like
what I'm saying, I think, let's say from age 1 to 12. What should he do? Should he not listen to it around her?
No, I think it's fine because in the end, like, I am really appreciative of all the different types of music my parents played for me. You just more well-rounded.
By the way, wasn't hip hop, wasn't misogynist, wasn't
what was
what your parents played.
What are you telling me that?
I unequivocally am telling you that.
Yeah,
there's no way your parents played you like hardcore hip hop before the age of 12.
My mom played me NWA and like
to quote you, who?
My mom played me. What is it? Ice Cube, Dead on Arrival. Was it that? Is that the album when he has the
toe
death
tag
with toe tag? And she explained every single song to me, and I was 5. And she like,
how old were you?
5.
And what time did child service show up? What song?
No Vaseline. Explain me that. Explain me Oreo. Explain me all these songs. So I'm a little.
All right, I was wrong.
You're very wrong.
I can't believe that. I believe that it happened, but I don't think that's good parenting.
No, that's good. I saw New Jack City in the theater. I was single digit. I saw
that. I agree with.
All those Juice, all the black movies,
the
black
early
gangster
90s.
movies. I saw
Straight
in
Outta
theater.
Brooklyn.
With Vampire in Brooklyn.
Poetic Justice.
No, I saw them all with my mom at the theater. So I don't fucking know. I'm not a good. I mean, it makes you cooler. I'm not a good gauge because I think. Yeah, I don't think Cuss Day was great because
Cuss Day feels experimental.
It was completely.
But in a good way. Like to me it seems like, well, this is a thing that you can't do, but you can do it today. And then you'll remember not to do it the rest of the day.
And we did, and it was fine. But the problem was there was times I let
let it fly.
Yeah, I did football.
Football player did you did it the wrong time.
Did the wrong time.
At the wrong time.
And
Cussed at the wrong day.
Cussing on the day at school, and then I got in trouble a few times. So I don't know. I think a lot of the time parents are like, what do I allow my kid to know about the world? But kids pick up a lot more. Just even in elementary school, how much shit do kids bring? They're like,
yes,
this, that, and
but
the other
I
thing.
think you're better off. Tom Papa one time said his daughter had just turned 13 or 14. He's comic Tom Papa, and he goes, yeah, now it's a thing where we set rules, and she has to figure out ways to break them.
That was a good Tom Papa.
Like that's
how he talks.
But that's fine. I just think like if you can avoid, I think part of a parent's job is to prolong childhood for as long as possible without being weird.
No, I for sure.
Like innocence, and don't be violent, don't yell, don't be, you know what I mean? Like don't show graphic shit.
But then
as long as you can.
But then my stepdad was really into like classic rock, all types of rock from the 80s. And I would listen to that, and like their lyrics aren't.
It's all about fucking underage girls.
Yeah. So
I think your stepdad was trying to get.
Ew.
Well,
that's so gross.
You said ew to you, but.
No,
boing,
moving
boing,
on.
Boing to him.
That's
Boing, boing,
disgusting.
boing to him.
Stop.
Boing to the boing,
That's
boing.
gross. There was like 5. Neal, weirdo. Write it in your
You've
worksheet.
seen my Twitter.
Write it in your worksheet. So I think honestly, I'm just gonna be real. It's unless you're like my mom explaining to me lyrics. Sorry, mom, she's gonna be mad that I told that story. But unless you're like my mom doing that, kind of hard to retain as a kid.
I don't see.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like you can get away with listening to your shit.
Yes.
And it not be like, why did he say, I don't know.
I would just say play radio versions. If you, I think it's worth
edits
them hearing the genre.
Yeah,
like it's worth.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think some songs are just not.
No.
Not. I mean, it seems like they're all like it's all about WAPs.
And they're not even in a. If it's the edited version, you're right. I think it's a good.
Just play edited version because it's worth hearing, but it's just not. You just don't want.
Okay, we did it.
We did it. Took us a while, and we implicated a lot of people, but we got there, and we're all better off for it.
Goodbye.
Okay, this is where we get into the expertise business.
Okay.
You've got mail.
Hey, Neal and Bianca, LSTNER. Last week, you guys were responding to an email from a dude who pretty much said, "I'm just as funny as you are." And even though you've left a historic influence on sketch comedy, you're not better than me. The dude obviously has some self-esteem issues to work out. That's the whole of the email. Anyhow, I completely agree with you that some people are born with comedic talent. That's just the way their brain works. It's like how not all of us have the mindset to become a Nobel Prize-winning scientist or a legendary athlete. But since groups like anti-vaxxers, climate change deniers, Trumpers, anti-maskers, have become more popular over the last decade, it seems people believe more and more that reading a few blog posts on the subject makes their opinions just as credible as a trained professional. This movement away from established knowledge has been referred to as the death of expertise. It's the book I mentioned last week. It's called The Death of Expertise. I think it's fair to say that you're an expert on your craft, and it must be frustrating for anyone to think that they have an understanding of comedy equal to yours because they've taken a few improv classes. It's just as stupid as somebody saying they could operate on a patient because they've taken a CPR seminar. Good metaphor. Do you feel like there has been a similar death of expertise in the comedy community in the last few years, or have people always looked at comedy as something anyone could do with just a little practice? Yes, there's more. There's another letter. Sort of the same thing.
I just like that they called me I represent a newer generation of comedians.
Oh, I didn't even say that. I know.
I'm not a comedian.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
someone else asked me.
You respect comedians enough and know the difference.
To never do that.
Yeah.
As like, I'm also, honestly, a lot of people just put it on their resume. I've had multiple managers be like, just do just get film if he's doing stand. I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Yes.
It would be better, helpful for your career. I'm like, dude, I could not look at myself in the mirror.
It's the difference someone who like goes hunting a few times and someone who lives in a tree. That's the difference between people that do stand up sometimes and people that do it all the time.
So
My question is how. This is the other email.
so you blended them.
I know. I think the whole work versus talent debate misses a huge component of what makes a successful comedian. That is obsession. Every good comedian is obsessed with comedy. You're the kind of people who will memorize every line from Delirious and watch the Comedy Store documentary 6 times over and over. While you're on stage, not only are you chasing laughs, you're chasing a particular kind of laugh. This is all very true. The question is, how would an obsessed wannabe comedian figure out whether they've got enough talent to keep pushing through failure and rejection in order to develop their craft? At what point should it be game over? Then there's at least one more.
Whoa.
This is the one that I wanted to talk about. Hey, Neal and Bianca, I had the below draft queued up until you eviscerated that poor bastard at the end of this week's show, who just wants to believe he's a comedy class or 2 away from Dress to Kill, which if you hold that up as the best comedy special ever, bless you. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's got some fucking great bits in it, but please. Obviously, beginner stand-up classes won't replace the lonely childhood, and yet Neal is made out to be the asshole because some people believe they are a golf lesson away from being Tiger Woods. Still, I, narcissistic me, am different, and I can't help my armchair self.
All right.
So he'd already written this. Hey, Neal and Bianca, big fan of the podcast and of 3 Mics. 3 Mics, an absolute masterpiece. I've been listening to you for the last year or so. You always mention how hard stand-up is, and then I watched the Showtime Comedy Room series, which again, this guy's, I think he's British.
Oh, okay.
Series you recommended, and saw you guys talk about how hard comedy is. And I sometimes listen to Pete Holmes. You made it weird, where he talks to other comics about how hard stand-up is. With all due respect, if the goal in stand-up is now doing a great 1-hour special per year, it doesn't seem that hard. It's the sculpting of material in front of strangers and humiliating yourself at open mic lotteries and bombing new material and being competitive with super unhappy people and traveling to crappy places that seem so hard, not making people laugh for an hour. I'm guessing, given that you've said that there are only like 250 people in the world who can do what you do, you think it is pretty hard. I kind of want to bet on that. Like 50 grand to a good cause. No, I'm keeping the money. Says, if you give me 10 weeks,
wow, no,
put me in front of a fair crowd and give me 3 nights like you pros get, I could perform a median Comedy Store regular hour special. I don't know how you would judge success. I'll leave it up to you. If there's one thing I find really honorable from listening to your podcast, you have an innate sense of fairness. Thank you, sir. I wish Bianca did as well. I'm 37, was an options trader for 10 years, then quit to start a sports gambling startup. So I've spent my career in betting, and I'm pretty sure I have an edge. Let me know if you'd be interested in a little wager from a big fan.
Oh my God, you have to do it.
I wouldn't put an audience through it.
Oh, come on. They are put through.
You think an audience is going to sit for an amateur for an hour?
If we say
Bianca,
it's a bet. Dude,
if you say it's a bet, they're not gonna stay. They'll just get up.
I'm having vision. It's okay. TV show idea. I get percentage. Beat Bobby Flay, but in comedy, beat Neal. Okay, you think you're so good at stand up? We'll see. And then the
problem with Bobby Flay is you can hide the dishes and who made what. You can't hide who told what joke if it's a famous person.
Wait, what do you mean? No, I'm saying amateurs come who think like this guy and the other guy who wrote. And they're like, I can fucking do that job. It's not that hard. And so they come up and they work on, obviously an hour is way too long, but like a 10 or
This guy's saying he could do an hour.
He doesn't know.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's the bet, is he could do an hour.
15 minutes.
He just needs 3 nights. He needs 3 nights a week for 10 weeks. And he'll do an hour as good as median level Comedy Store, which is very high level.
Yeah, but I'm just saying this could be interesting.
I know of a show that's related.
No one take my idea. Give me credit.
But 15 minutes, no one's going to beat someone in 15 minutes. Everyone will lose.
What do you mean? There's 50-minute sets of the store. Yet you're
not going to, an amateur isn't going to be able to beat a professional in 15 minutes.
Okay, but that's their fault that they think they...
I know, but it's not a good TV show.
Why?
Because it's not interesting. I don't want to watch a bad thing for more than 20 seconds. That's what this guy doesn't understand. He thinks people are going to be patient. People will yell at you and then they'll get up and leave.
Yeah, you'd have to make it like if you passed the 3 nights of practice and people actually laughed, then. But I mean,
no one's gonna. In order to do an hour, this guy's saying, "Hey Neal, I see that if you can do an hour and get it on Netflix, you probably make minimum $400,000 a year, and millions of people aren't doing that because it hasn't occurred to them. They just haven't." All you got to do is bear through. It's not about material.
right.
Anyone can write endless material. And any fool can do that. A fool, like, even though the only fools that have been able to do it in world history are like 7 people. But this guy thinks it's just a matter of like, no. And he runs a gambling website. This isn't Dunning-Kruger. This is not the Dunning-Kruger effect. He runs a gambling
Maybe it's a
site.
better mind.
He has an edge. And this is what I'm talking about. It's crazy that people think this. But they don't think about basketball. They don't think about singing. They don't think about.
Right.
They kind of do think about screenwriting. Like, well, I'll just write a thing and it'll get made.
Everyone's a screenwriter.
Right, because Ben Affleck did it 25 years ago and then never wrote. Actually, he wrote another thing. Matt Damon's written nothing else.
Yeah, I just mean sometimes, like before I worked at comedy places, comedy clubs, I liked the amateur night. You know, I liked kind of to see the bad one like kill Tony.
Yeah.
There is something interesting, like maybe not 15 minutes. I mean, I'm not saying that like this is
Sociologically, it's fascinating.
right. So I just mean
I
like
don't
there's
even
something kind of everyone gets like I see the crowds at Kill Tony, and everyone kind of wants you to bomb. But they're happy when you don't. But there is something about people being like, this guy thinks he can do comedy.
For an hour.
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking about.
You don't understand how long an hour. Kill Tony's 60 seconds.
No, I know that. I'm mostly joking about this. I feel like I'm getting this guy's
I
rage.
have no sense of humor.
I know. Like, this is not real.
Yeah.
This is not like the Bird movie. I'm just saying that there is something as an audience member with like a lot less skin in this argument. I'm like, I don't care. There is something interesting about watching someone that is cocky, thinks he can do well and bomb.
I know so well what's going to happen that it's not even worth. Of course, it's like guy going, I can beat Billie Jean King. Get, at least that guy was kind of a pro.
Right.
This guy runs a gambling website.
With an edge.
With an edge. He's got an edge.
He has an edge.
And thinks that he can be a streaming Netflix comedian. It's in 10 weeks.
It's just take comedy out of it. Getting something that very few people get, which is a Netflix special or even a comedy special for that matter. And so few people even get that. And so many people are involved in the steps to get there. I mean, like if you just thought about this, if this guy just thought about it, things that are really hard to obtain. Yeah. They're hard to obtain for a reason. So I think this guy's just,
But that's what I don't, that's what I understand about that people don't do they can't do that math, especially running a gambling website.
Yeah.
Run the numbers. Why doesn't everyone do, I promise you I made more than he did most years. Yeah. Like why would.
I think it's because people are, you can be funny.
It's the thing I wanted to play last week.
What?
About Screw Tape.
Oh, Screw Tape. So good.
C.S. Lewis wrote a book called The Screw Tape Letters. And he basically talks about how democracy was is the key to, it's the thing that makes everyone think you're not better than me. Because, like, we're all the same. It's like, no, our vote counts the same. After that, we're all very different.
You can't play it, can you?
I can't play it. I can. So Screw Tape is like a demon, and he's giving a speech to, like, University of Demons, like where they all go to school in, I guess, in hell or something. If you look at the Death of Expertise in the book, and the audiobook. It's basically this guy Screwtape is a demon, and he says just by merit of living in a democracy, it makes everybody think that everything's equal, and it gives insecure people ammunition. Like, you're not better than me. It's like, I'm better than you at this one thing. Like, this guy, I couldn't run a gambling website. I have no problem saying I couldn't be a options trader. Maybe I could. I don't know. But I don't assume I could. And it's not just temperamental. It's like, my gift isn't numbers.
Yeah.
Just don't have a gift for numbers. But because it's not a high status position, I'm not going to go, fuck you. Anyone could do that. All you got to do is get one of those chairs with because it's not high status, people have it breeds no resentment. Where I think with a lot of people, I think something about me especially breeds resentment.
No, I don't think it's you. I think it is comedy.
I think also the podcast and the access people get.
Because people don't challenge you on most people. I mean, I'm sure you have a story, but most people don't challenge you in terms of Chappelle Show. No, I could write that. No one's saying that.
Oh,
ever.
No, they don't have to, because I didn't write any of it.
Well,
I mean, that's the other. They can't believe it. That's when I say that. But that's a lot of most people. I know you're going to think I'm crazy.
Most people do think you wrote Chappelle Show.
Now they do. Okay. Now they do. But they didn't until the Mark Twain speech. I know people think I'm crazy when I say that, but most people, because it's an invisible job, you can't, no one goes, well, you're after Dave, Seth, at the correspondence dinner, Ellen, and Chris. You must fucking be good at writing. Just why would those, that's where I was saying earlier. It's like, because he's so nice. I'm not nice.
He's brave.
Yeah, like I'm not nice. So it's the thing about comedy that everyone's a little funny. And when someone goes on stage, they're basically saying, I'm the funniest. And that makes especially men cross their arms, because it's basically like, I'm stronger than you.
Yeah.
And
it's like a type of strength.
Women won't ever say I'm funny. But
No.
No woman a woman will yell in the middle of a show more than a man. Because women,
we're wasted on Pinot Grigio.
You're wasted on Pinot Grigio, and you don't have to fight. You know you're not going to have to fight. Whereas this guy probably wouldn't say this in public.
No.
And even the idea of this is so insane. He also wouldn't email Joe Rogan this, because he knows Joe could beat him up. Do you know what I mean? There's just these weird psychologies that people don't take into account of, like, what are you doing? So you really think, so comedians now make between, if you're streaming, you're probably making between $500,000 and $100 million, right? Let's say $500,000 on the low end, $100 million's Kevin Hart, another guy I work with because I'm nice. And this guy thinks that it's just a decision.
Okay.
That he could do also.
Right.
He just hasn't, because he doesn't want to, all the, he doesn't want to sculpt material in front of strangers and humiliate himself at open mics and bombing new material and all that stuff. And that's, again, why I like Jerry's thing on Tim Ferriss, because Jerry, like, illuminates what the job is.
But I would say that everybody there, and this guy and the guy from the week before are a bit more misguided than who I'm talking about. But there are people who come to the store and they want to start doing comedy, and they're probably the funniest person in their friend group or whatever. You do have to kind of do comedy to see if you can do it, I agree.
This other person that's like, when do you pull the plug?
You kind of
never have to.
You really don't, because it's kind of innocuous.
Yeah,
I mean, the audience,
it is a lottery. No one's going to say you can't go on this open mic.
No.
You won the lottery, or some open mics you bringer shows, whatever. They can't stop you. It's just a matter of, like, how crazy are you? How insane are you that you think that this is any future to look forward to? Because it is very palpably embarrassing.
It's grueling. It's not as glamorous as you think.
Yeah.
I mean, when did Marin start popping? Late.
Yeah. 46 6.
Pop. That's when
Yeah.
he started, and
Yeah.
it's not like he started at 40.
Yeah.
So it's funny too. There's so many people who it takes a while. I can't tell exactly when your popcorn pops, your kernel pops, but you could be doing comedy a lot and like going up. I've had shows like a few times this year, whatever, and still like I wouldn't consider you a comedian.
Oh, if you're not going on just about every night, you're not a comedian.
That's the weird thing, because people think, my friend goes up at the store. Some people will do a random lady show here and there, and like, I go up to the store. They self-identify as comedians. Yes. They write jokes. Yeah. They get laughs. But I'm like, unless you're going up every night or that's your main source of income, you're not a
what
comedian.
This guy's not accounting for is even people. I mean, I've had the argument with Rock and Jerry about how many good hours can you do in your life? Really? If we're really talking about it. 3?
Ouch.
I know, but think about it.
Unfortunate.
I mean, there are guys that I would almost argue that Burr has had more what I consider like top to bottom strong hours.
He has a lot.
Then
out there.
I wouldn't say anybody, but like there was a point where I was like, Jesus Christ, like, and this guy thinks the only difference between him and Bill Burr is Bill Burr tried. He doesn't understand that, like, you know how much fucking material you have to just pan for? Like Seinfeld said on his thing.
That's so funny.
They were talking about, it wasn't Kelly Slater, the other surfer, but he said, like, surfing, it's just paddling. I surf every once in a while. And at stand-ups like that, it's like, I'm writing jokes that probably aren't going to work.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell me which ones are going to work or not ahead of time. I don't know, and I've been doing it since I was 18. So how would you? Because you're high status, and I want that, and I do it every once in a while.
I have a question. Do you think? I took this one of the most interesting classes I took in college. This guy wrote his own book, so he was already weird. But my teacher wrote a book on different types of...
Nothing weirder than writing a book. Go ahead.
He wrote a book detailing different types of science, like physics, astronomy, like all the different types. And he charted at what age did they do the most amazing work? At what age did they peak?
I think you told me about that.
I think I did.
It was like all older.
It was all, well, no, it depends. Like physics, it was this age.
Right.
So it was, and they actually never reached that same level of, that peak. Yeah, that peak. They all peak at different times in their life. And I'm wondering, do you think they peak? Or do you think that because it's comedy, the public changes on them and they leave them in the dust?
Don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. Because I think it has more to do with like how long you've been doing stand-up. But you make Maron. I mean, Maron popped because of the podcast.
Yeah.
Joe popped because of the podcast.
You think Joe popped? No, he was pretty big.
But it was concurrent. The podcast is bigger than the stand-up.
Okay, yeah. As a comic, he's been famous for a long time. Yeah.
I don't know, because I think I'm funnier now than I've ever been, which might just be motivated reasoning and confirmation bias.
And also
I want to be funnier, but I started later. So, and then but maybe I was technically, my brain was a more active. I have a better eye for what probably will work. That's from doing it. But I think it's like you have the eye for what probably will work, and then culture is a whole other thing in terms of what people want to hear. And then I really like Dave. Like Dave kind of disappearing for a decade was helpful to his career, because meanwhile people never got tired of him.
Yeah.
So like he's just like a new thing that they're like, oh fuck.
Right. New generation of people get to like appreciate him in a different way also. Yeah, because there's
and
comics
then you get like less angry
What do you mean?
You just get less angry as a person. You
The
get
older you
have
get.
kids. You just get softer. Your edges get softer.
Because there's comics who come to this store who at some point were the biggest comic in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's funny.
Yeah.
Like I get the humor, but I'm not dying laughing. So I'm wondering, are they still playing the same song and it just feels outdated?
Yeah, it's impossible to say because it's also like I've gotten better in that I just I'm like, okay, I just can't, I really don't care.
Oh yeah,
I used to not care about what people thought of me, and now it's to the point where it's I'm gonna say whatever. There's a thing about your personal orientation to the world that I think is a big, which I think to Burr's credit is another thing that he hasn't. Burr's fucking rich, and you'd never know it.
A normal person. Yeah. I'm like, I kind of feel like he's always smoking cigars. I don't know. It's a rich guy thing.
But you can get cigars at 7-Eleven.
Okay, like a white
you know
owl.
what I mean? Yeah, like maybe but he doesn't. He drives a Prius. Last time I checked, like
Oh yeah, no, he's chill.
he
He's
doesn't-
not I also am from Silicon Valley, so I see a lot of rich people, and that's how rich guys.
that's how Silicon
behave.
Valley goes.
Yeah, they're
Sebastian's rich and has
No,
Porsche
Sebastian is
and
East
Segura's
Coast
rich and
Italiano.
has Porsche. Like
no He's like Silicon Valley. He's just like, I'm not changing anything. I'm wearing regular things.
yeah,
I'm not like changing up, but I'm really rich.
yes, and he still has an anger issue.
I know.
Which is great. It's hard to do. It really is hard to do. To have money and a good marriage and children that you love and still be a fucking angry maniac is like a gift.
Well, especially good for his comedy.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. I don't.
No,
talking
he's
to
not
him,
raging out. I mean,
Right.
yeah, but
Yeah.
in like the fact that he can keep up the same. It's almost like some people, what made their first album was amazing because they were more like raw
Yeah.
talent. Like Burr's talent is still in all of his.
Yeah. It's still like the same fucking.
Yeah, that's what makes him so fucking
Yeah.
funny. It's like, what?
So,
What do you?
but this guy could do it. He just needs 10. He needs 30 sets. And we'll just give him what we get, which is. By the
So
way,
you're
none
not
of us
taking
get
the
3.
wager.
By
Not
the way,
taking
none
the
of us
wager.
get. I'm not going to take the wager because I literally won't do that to the audience. No one will sit for a guy. I'm not going to give a main room audience. I'm not going to give somebody an hour in the main room to prove something that he doesn't know that I know in my essence. And any comedian in the world. So all these people say how hard it is. You can listen to Jerry on the other thing. He'll tell you how hard it is, and then you can be like, nah. Me. Now, what's the line on that football game? So sorry, boss. That's the podcast for
Sorry,
this
boss.
week. And we did it, and we don't have to take this shit. It's December. And no more shit taken.
How you feel? 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 Tell me how you feel.